All right, we are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the December 17th, 2025 Litchfield School Board meeting. It is now 5:30. We'll call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, do we have any changes to tonight's agenda from the board? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Anything off consent tonight? All right, we're going to be making some changes to assignments to the committees in just a moment. Summary of non-public actions from December 3rd, 2025. The board didn't move into non-public on December 3rd, 2025, so there's no summary. And next up on the agenda, we have vice chair elections. So just as a reminder to the public, Ms. Ames did hand in her resignation to the board at our last meeting. There is a vacancy on our board. We are momentarily going to be going through an appointment interview process with those who have shown some interest in filling that seat from now until March. But before we do so, we are going to fill the position of vice chair with the members that are sitting here, and also go through the reassignment of subcommittees that Mrs. Ames was assigned to. So with that, is there any nomination for vice chair? Who wants to draw the short stick? I don't know.
I guess I'm the longest standing member. I would step in if it meets with board approval.
I will nominate Peter.
All right, we have a motion for Peter Polanski. I will second. Additional discussion?
Nope.
Is anyone opposed to that?
Well, actually.
Nope.
Very straightforward. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That carries 3-0-1. Congratulations, sir.
Andrew claims he has a better system for correspondence. So I guess to say.
Yes, and we're going to be going through that new system tonight. With that, we do have Member Ames's committees that she was participating in. Notably, Heidi was part of the backup for budget committee. I have been covering most of those, nearly all of those, I think, except one for this year, so I don't think it's going to be that heavy of a lift. But as we get into the final parts of budget season, it is nice to have a backup in the event that it's necessary.
I can take that.
Okay, thank you. We also have joint loss.
I can do that one. That was like,
Yeah, that one's a quick one. Appreciate that. We have curriculum.
Well, let me ask you a question. If we're going to appoint someone, will they sit on committees or no?
I don't think so temporarily. Right, we'll wait until the
This is lucky.
we'll wait until the reassignments in March for that.
Sorry, continue. What were you doing?
We're on curriculum.
Well, since they both volunteered, I guess I'll volunteer.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
And wellness. What is? How often does
Is
wellness
that the one
meet?
that meets with Lauren Farley?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like quarterly. Yeah.
I'll do that one too, because she told me that one basically never meets.
That's quick. Okay. And then I'll do policy. I'll dust off my policy hat again as I did a couple years ago.
Excellent. I've got a bunch waiting, so.
Great. So I did draw the short stick.
Between budget committee and policy.
All right, what Brian doesn't know is I'm going to audit him. Make sure he's on HSBA.
I love it.
All right, great. So that was pretty smooth. Thank you to the board members for those reassignments. Any questions with that? Do we have all that for the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
All done.
Were there any other subcommittees that we needed to talk about tonight that I missed?
No, the only other ones are FIC, but we still got Peter and Dan. Emergency, which is Matt and Peter. Learning outcomes, which is Matt. CIP, which is Peter, and then Dan is the backup. Dan's on energy, and economic development is Peter. That's all. So.
That's all. All right, moving forward with our agenda tonight, we have presentations and recognitions. At this point, we are going to move forward with our school board member appointment and interview process. Just to kind of tee things up, we had 4 applicants to fill the seat from now until March. I just got kicked out, so let me log it back in. We had Mr. Ray Peoples. We had Miss just got kicked out. Ryan, I don't know.
It's different.
Yeah, I don't know why
Issues
this is
here
doing
tonight,
this.
For sure.
I can do the names. You want me to do the names?
Yeah,
real
if you
quick?
could do that. I don't know.
Mr. Ray Peoples, Miss Allie Mercier, Miss Lauren Briley? Briley, okay. And then Miss Erica Ruggles.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And as a part of the process, the board has access to the submissions of the forms that they can certainly read, but we do want to take a moment and interview each of the candidates that are here tonight, with the exception of Miss Ruggles. I know Miss Ruggles, unfortunately, is under the weather. If the board is interested in interviewing Miss Ruggles, that will have to wait until our first meeting in January. Okay. With that, can we start with Laura?
Lauren. Yep.
Lauren,
Yep.
please come on up. Just share a little bit about yourself and why you're interested, please.
Sure. So we'll probably have similar story to Allie behind me. Grew up here in Litchfield from the age of 5 until I went to college down in Mass. Lived there for a bit, got my nursing degree. I work as a nurse director at Mass Ioneer. And now I'm back in Litchfield, and it's full circle. I live 8 minutes from my parents still, and they're a great help with the kids. And I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, so I'm familiar, obviously, with the school system. I was a little bit behind Allie, but the second graduating class, full graduating class for Campbell High School. So saw a lot of the sports start, saw a lot of everything start with Campbell High School, and excited to be back and have my kids go through the school system, and especially hopefully see older faces and new faces as well. But I always loved the Litchfield school system, coming from a smaller town, obviously, and then going into Mass and going into Boston and living there for a long time. I think it set me apart, to be honest, and I loved every part of it. So I'm happy to be back, and I would love to be a part of the process and new processes for the Litchfield school system. And I think that's about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have one question I'm going to ask all of you. All right, so I guess the other two have a little bit of an unfair advantage for preparing in their mind. Right, so the board has kind of a key discussion tonight, right? And that big discussion, and I believe even a vote tonight, is on GMS, right? We have a GMS warrant article that's part of our discussion tonight. And my question to you is, if you're staying in kind of in tune with things that are happening at GMS, right? How would you approach GMS in terms of balancing taxpayers as well as just the needs of that building and what the current state of that building is?
Right. So obviously, being a part of GMS too, I saw it continue to expand and continue to grow. And I wasn't there actually when the buildings or the pieces of construction went up outside, into the parking lots and everything. But I do believe that's where we start our school system. That's where we have our initial part of our kids going into the program. And I think that I do believe I've talked to probably not all the people that would disagree with it, but I've talked to people that would agree with it, even with people that don't have kids in the school system, that it is, I think we're putting our kids at an unfair advantage with the growth that we need to develop. I mean, we're just going to continue to grow and continue to grow. I feel like in Litchfield, where I think it needs to be talked about more, and hopefully with expansion and with the understanding that I think that does have to come to people that go into a small town that's going to continue to grow, and especially starting here. I think that has to be kind of the expectation, that the taxes will go up because of growth, and that starts with our children. I really do believe that, and I think we'll continue to see that. I mean, I feel like we've seen that. Driving by Campbell, I think it's continued to grow and expand just in the sports complexes around it and everything too, that I really believe that kind of needs to happen to continue to expand our knowledge and expand our kids' knowledge.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions from the board?
I have two that are not as complex as
I know, I was like, oh my
God. More like, yes or no. You work down in Boston?
Yes. Yeah.
How is it going to be getting here for, you're here obviously today.
Yep.
We meet twice a month. Is a 5:30 meeting?
Yeah, no, not an issue. I have a little bit of flexibility with my schedule being in management and leadership, so I can kind of make my own schedule based off of that. I also have direct reports that can cover me while I'm not there or anything like that. So that was never been an issue, especially with having like smaller kids. My goal is to kind of be home at a reasonable time. So
Well, when you're in Boston, I never know.
it's true. It's true.
Oh, look, the traffic says an hour.
Yeah.
It's just Sturo Drive. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't hit Sturo, so I avoid that piece. Yeah.
My only other question is, would you, I mean, obviously you haven't experienced this yet, but would your intention be to run for the seat again? Because this is not a long-term appointment.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I obviously want to see how, I think this is why it's a great opportunity, is because it's an interim type of position to grow and like to learn about the board system. I mean, I also am very recent of being back in Litchfield, so I think this was a great opportunity that I saw right away to get involved and to see what happens at the board meetings. And especially, like I said, with a big passion of mine in education and especially Litchfield education. So I think that would be my goal eventually to run, because I'm hoping that I enjoy it so much and hopefully can bring forward some good ideas, but also listen and learn more as well.
Fantastic.
Have you been able to follow along with the whole GMS project as it's sort of been regenerated after the last election that failed in 2024?
No, I have not, to be honest, because this has been a recent move for me. So it's been kind of like a long-term thought process of moving out of Massachusetts and coming to a place that I wanted to be and be close to my parents, so I have not.
They can't hear
They don't want to hear it.
Valid. No, that's sort of the one that's, I mean, that's our big issue right now is
Yeah.
GMS, so.
I'm good. I'm still learning this process, so.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Well, thank you for coming
Yeah,
tonight. We
yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you. So am I all set? Do you want me to stay?
You're all set for now.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Allie.
Hi,
Hi. Welcome.
it's nice to be with everyone this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. So just tell us a little bit about yourself
Yep.
and why you're interested.
And so, like echoing Lauren, I'm basically a copycat right now. I grew up on Litchfield on Pearson Street from the age of 2 onward. It empowered the rest of my life in a way that's almost indescribable, especially being among the first graduating class of Litchfield. I think we got some really wonderful years in there and some magic, and I got to capitalize that in the biggest way. Now, after going to school in Boston, working in New York City in youth development specifically, and then coming back home and bringing my 7-year-old, almost 8-year-old, and 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old into the school district, I'm really excited about supporting the schools in whatever way I might be able to, bringing the acumen that I have from being a thought leadership at a national level in youth development to our local levels, in the same way that Lauren felt so passionate about these schools and about how much they meant to her and her development as a human. I want to be able to contribute back to the community. And Roland Bergeron was another townie that I know is really involved. He's a cousin of mine. So we're a very service-oriented family. I live just down the road, and I work from home for an organization called UKG, where I mentor a lot of young people coming in. Really excited about just working to build this town up in whatever ways I can.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So same question about GMS that I had asked. What do you think?
So I think obviously it's a challenge that's incredibly complicated. Otherwise, we would have solved it years ago, right? I remember back to Bo Schlichter's video of him kind of being like, look at this, and look at this, and look at this. And I love that man. Like, I've always applauded him and lauded him. And we have to work within reality. And so the focus needs to always be on student outcomes, student safety, and the priorities need to be there. If we need to cut expenses, we can get creative with academics. I know that because I've been in that seat and gotten creative within academics. I also have some grant writing expertise that I'm happy to bring to the table, have a track record of bringing millions of dollars to New York City public schools. And I'm happy to bring that to the table as a way to help as well. So definitely getting creative and working with community expectations as far as if you want good student incomes, students need to be in an environment that really facilitates their learning and doesn't distract from their learning.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I mean, my first question is pretty easy. If you work from home, I would imagine it's not hard to get here for 5:30.
I mean, it's really rough, the 4 minutes.
It's a 4-minute ride,
Yeah.
yeah. But I bet the other question still applies. Would you be inclined to run for this, or is this more of a?
I would actually. I when I got my house, and I misspoke, I had said in 2023. It was in 2022, September. They were going to go with an all-cash offer, and they went with me because of my history in the town and because of my kind of impassioned plea of wanting to invest back in the community that invested so much in me and allowed for my success at a very young age. And I'm a woman of integrity, so I'm doing what I'm doing. And whether it's in the school board seat now, in the school board seat in the future, or in auxiliary support in any kind, I'm here to be of service.
Amazing, thank you.
Same question about, have you been able to follow what's going on with?
Yeah, I've been able to. And even when I was in New York, I kind of stayed in touch with things that were going on with this town because of how much this town means to me. And again, I'd repeat the kind of concern about the budgetary constraints don't need to impede academic success. And what we need to know is work closely with the schools, right, and find out what the most important things for child success is in those environments, and focus on putting our funding in those spaces. And where we can't put funding, that's where we get creative. In the art world, we talk about how it's the constriction that actually can make the art piece. And I believe that the same creativity can be applied in this setting of getting to the academics in a different way.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Turn it over to you. Still?
Yeah, I'm still all set.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming.
Absolutely. Thank
All
you.
right. Mr. Peoples.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you for
I'm gonna
coming
be probably
today. We know
a
you
little-
had a busy day in Concord.
I'm pretty a little less wordy tonight. I was waiting for the question.
If you could just share a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in filling the seat.
Been a resident of the town since 1990. My son graduated with Alley, so I'm a little bit older than the other two. I've served on pretty much every town board and committee at one time or another. And my interest in the school board, this is the second time I'm sitting beside you to fill in a seat. Basically, since I've been elected as a representative, I'm sorry, my voice is gone. I've been deeply drenched in education at the state level, being on education funding, a couple of special education subcommittees and things like that. So I've been really coming up to speed on the education side. I just got back from New Orleans, where I went to the National Education Summit down there. So I've been doing my homework to come up to speed so I can do the best job possible.
I don't want to make you talk too much.
It's okay.
Right? Obviously, I know you've been very well in tune, being part of the facilities committee with GMS and things like that. So my same question that I asked the other two, right? How do you balance the kind of the agenda item of the board tonight, balancing taxpayer needs and the needs of GMS and the infrastructure?
I think whatever the proposal is this time, it'll be so well vetted that the transparency question won't be an issue. And then it's basically, do the voters support the increase in their taxes? We got to make some adjustments, there's no doubt about it, with the declining enrollment. So this is probably the best time we have.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we know you're doing a lot for our schools up at the state, in Concord. Are you thinking of, is this something that you would run for again with us, or are you looking to just fill it?
My first thought is to fill it till March and decide whether I want to continue after that.
I know you're quite busy with the state, that's what I was curious.
It has streaks.
Yeah,
I can't ask the question, I mean, Ray's part of the FIC, so he's
yeah.
in tune with.
But
what's
don't worry,
going on.
Dan came up with one.
No, I haven't.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Peoples? No? Okay.
Nope.
With that, thank you, Mr. Peoples. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is the board inclined to make a motion tonight, or would you like to wait till our first meeting in January when we have an opportunity to talk with Ms. Ruggles?
I think it would only be fair to allow Ms. Ruggles to come and speak to the group, otherwise I think it would be do her a disservice.
Okay, I agree. So at this point, we're going to wait to our first meeting in January to make a final decision. We'll give Ms. Ruggles an opportunity to come in and speak to the board as well. And at our first meeting in January is when we'll make that decision. All right? Thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
All right, shifting gears into, back to the agenda. Next up is the student representative report. Dom, I know you've been kind of chomping at the bit to present tonight.
Is that what I was hearing?
He's loving school. 2 days before break, nothing else he wants to do. It should be coming up there in a second.
Yeah, so for our winter sports, we got hockey, basketball, and wrestling going on. Right now, girls basketball team sadly lost against Fall Mountain. So that was their first game, so they're currently 0-1. But their next game is tonight against Hopkinton. The boys basketball team is 1-1. Their next game is tonight against Terryfield. The wrestling team has had their first meet on December 10th, and the hockey team is competing against Kearsarge in Plymouth tonight. So the past events that we've had is a student council winter conference that was in Goffstown, so we had a lot of student council members attend that. The St. Paul's School Summer Program presentation in the auditorium for the CDHS students. The Santa's Breakfast, which was put on by our National Honor Society at Campbell, and Christmas in Litchfield event that happened on the 13th, which I was volunteering at that, and a lot of people came and it was really fun, and I was at the Pictures with Elsa stage. So the current events, the things are going on right now. Winter chorus and band concert is coming up for CHS. The staff breakfast is on Friday, which is going to be put on by student council, and the Christmas tree lighting, Christmas tree lighting assembly, which is also on Friday during school. The future events that are coming up is a winter carnival, which will be right before February break. The student council, the volunteer work that we have coming up for the Manchester Food Bank, as well as Christmas vacation.
Are you excited for Christmas vacation?
I'm ecstatic.
The energy is
I couldn't tell, man.
So unfortunately, LMS had not get back to us to put anything on the slides tonight, so we're going to skip over to Griffin Memorial Schools. They had the holiday concert on December 3rd, which went very well. Congrats to Ms. Perry and the third grade or just the GMS chorus. The PTO holiday store, as usual, is functioning well. And this Friday is the holiday spirit day, which kids can wear ugly sweaters or
Thanks for the reminder.
Christmas themed stuff. And that's it.
All right, and shout out to LMS for sure, who, those kids who participated in High School Musical edition did a fantastic job over this past weekend. If you had an opportunity to see it, they really worked hard, and it was a great show. All right, thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, next up is community comment on agenda items. This is the first of 2 community comments. Seeing nobody running up to the mic, we'll close community comment, and there's a second round a little bit later this evening, and we'll move into correspondence. I have.
I think whoever did this did a fantastic job,
Thank you.
by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a new process for correspondence where it's now hyperlinked to the agenda, just so as correspondence comes in, I can keep track of it and add it really quick, so we don't lose track of what's being sent. So I will read correspondence tonight. So for December 17th, we have December 4th, 2025, Mr. Oblinus sent an email on on-site insight in a summary spreadsheet. There were no responses from board members. On December 10th, 2025, Ann Inamorati sent a credit card manifest. No responses from board members. On December 11th, 2025, Ann Inamorati sent the manifest. Again, no responses from board members. On December 11th, 2025, Superintendent O'Connell sent a text message to the board regarding the Alvin fire and the situation over there. There were responses from all board members.
On December 12th, 2025, Brooke Roman did send out a Christmas caroling summary from Student Council to the board. No responses from the board members. On December 16th, 2025, Ann Inverardi sent a 403B manifest and no responses from the board. And then December 17th, 2025, today, Mr. Mitchell sent a Community Forum 3 thank you note to the participants of that forum and no responses from the board members.
This is nice. I really do like this.
Thank you. Thank you. And so with that, that does take us up until this afternoon. I don't believe there's any other correspondence that came in since that point. All right, we'll shift gears into general business and turn it over to the superintendent, and we'll move into the GMS project.
All right, let's talk GMS, which I think is why we're here. Just so a quick summary from, I believe all four of you were there, but from the community forum we had Monday night. Our third one about the GMS project, where the focus was costing out the various options that we had been looking at. Just to refresh people's memories, option one, there was an A version and a B version, involved GMS only renovations and or additions at that building, including soft costs between $34 and $35 million. And there were subsections within that of the different pieces of that would entail. And then the second option looked at reconfiguring the grade levels, which reached costs of about $37, $38 million. And again, there were subgroups broken down of that, of what different aspects of the project would cost if you were, for example, renovate the 60s part of the building, renovate the main core of the building with the secure entrance, so on and so forth. So different pieces of that. So we presented on that. I thought it was a really positive forum. Obviously had a Q&A section at the end. People came up and asked a lot of great questions relevant to it, either through the just coming up to the mic or through the way they had people just send in their questions through the QR code. So I've got a couple of questions since then, just via email from people who attended or saw the video on YouTube, and we've been able to answer those questions as well. Same themes, just kind of detailed questions and stuff about what they were seeing. And so we had all the information, just presented it out to everyone so people could see what the costs are. So you see with this and the different subparts of the project and where we can go next with this. So we're here tonight. Warrant, this is all kind of ties together, warrant articles, budgets are the next two agenda items. So we're here to talk about GMS projects. If we want to move forward with a warrant article connected to it, really should figure that one out tonight. Yes. And then start the work. Julie's been doing a lot of work of getting the bond stuff ready, estimating payments and rates and tax rates and everything connected to that for various scenarios and stuff like that. We have been in, since Monday night, continue to converse with Harriman and Harvey to go over different pieces and different options. So we can talk through some of those conversations that we've had with them, with Julie and I have had with them as well about different subgroups and sections of these proposals, and then kind of figuring out what we want to do next related to the project.
So just to get things started here, right, when we have option one, option two, right? Option two was kind of the redistricting of students. Option two no longer on the table. We removed that warrant article, just given all the feedback received from the community, and so we're solely focused on option one at this point.
And it's more expensive too.
Well, and it's more expensive, right? Variety of reasons. So what you'll see in terms of warrant articles is option one, which is the renovation of Griffin Memorial specifically, with no redistricting of children. And so that is what's presented in front of you in terms of a warrant article.
That's linked to the agenda?
Yes, underneath warrant articles. You'll see that. There are no numbers in there yet, but what you'll see and what we want to talk about are numbers tonight, based upon what was shared with the board, in the community at the community forum, right? The numbers are far higher than I think any of us expected or anticipated. And so, what does the board want to do, right? Does the board want to move forward with the plan in putting kind of the full project on warrant this year? Does the board want to consider a phasing type of approach where we look at an alternate option of doing some of the work, right, in a structured way for less cost, with the mindset of doing a secondary phase at a later point in time? Or is there a third option that we're not thinking about? Or, maybe that third option is not doing any of it.
My concern with the phasing is just that I think like people conceptually will say, oh, well, you phase it and it's not gonna cost, like, we're still bonding everything, right? So we're gonna, so you're gonna still have these payments and that it's gonna have tax impact. I mean, yes, maybe you might do let's just say you did 2 phases, like maybe for the first 5 years, it's gonna be slightly lower, but then when you do phase 2, you're gonna have 2 bonds at that point, so like, I don't think we're gonna ever get out of, there's no way to get out of the overall cost of solving this problem. And I just don't know.
So do we have new numbers from Harriman?
What do you want? I have lots of numbers. So,
Well, I think that, one, I don't know that we're and not an architect, didn't even ever pretend to be an architect, but if you can take the spreadsheet and move stuff around, you can do, I don't think we should just dismiss redistribution, because the CHS is still 45 or 55% populated. I took the spreadsheet that I had sent to you, Brian, and I literally cut and pasted different pieces. And said, here's an option, 3A and 3B. And GMS, I think doing what you're talking about doing, the renovations in the secure entry, and then nothing else, is about 18 million bucks, 17 million bucks.
so we asked them to price out, doing the secure entrance,
Yeah.
the like main heart of the building, like that main stretch of the hallway, then the renovations associated with that, new systems related to it, and the 60 section livable but not fully renovated, if we were gonna phase it out, right? Like, if there's a phase plan and you have the 60 section, which is the roughest part of the building, right, excluding the 30s, because we're not using the 30s right now. But the 60 section is the roughest part of the building. If you just did enough to make that livable, safe enough, secure enough that no one's gonna, like, health is not gonna be an issue and stuff like that, but fix everything else, including soft costs, they got to 23.6 is the number they sent me today.
So I took what they had, building renovations with replacement systems and secure entrance.
Yep.
13,582.
Yep.
With about 3 million in soft costs, 17 million. And I think that included full repair of the 60s building.
No, it did not. Option 1 does not include
Okay.
for renovation. So the full repair of the 60s is under option 2, and that was 7.7 million alone. So, and that's just because in Harvey's explanation with that was you're essentially rebuilding it without tearing it down. It's that
Okay, so I think
bad.
I asked that question at the last advisory
So it sounds like it's
board.
right in the middle though, right? Like, it sounds like when you talk
Yeah,
about
well,
making it
yeah,
livable,
I
it's
see it,
essentially
as
right
I'm
in the
looking at
middle.
it now, I see that it's carved out here on 2A. But I think I asked that question at the last advisory that it included everything. So, my bad, so you add that back in, it's,
We should go off the number he just went off,
Yeah.
of 26, whatever, 24.
23.6.
So
Yeah.
call 24 round numbers, right?
Yeah.
So 24 million, and the full project, and in my mind, right, I'm going to say option 1A, the two, is there,
B.
1B is the two
two
floor.
floors.
Right, so option 1B is the one I'm thinking, and that was 35
35 million.
million?
With soft costs.
With
With
soft
soft
costs?
costs, yeah.
And I think one of the things with any of these things that we're gonna talk about is these prices include the site work, landscaping, and redoing the fire lanes, right? My advice would be to, regardless of what we decide tonight, is if we move forward with something, is hold off on that stuff.
What was the cost for all of that?
Depending on the project, anywhere between 3.1 and 3.8.
And I did not include that in
Right,
my little
like,
cut
yeah.
and paste document here.
I think you gotta take that out. So if you look at that, take out that, and that includes soft costs. So on the first option, it'd be about 31 million.
I don't
Second,
think it makes a difference. If you're between 31 and 35, I don't think it makes a difference.
I'm just saying, like, if you're
I
looking.
get where you're coming from, but I mean,
That's a big difference.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it's 10%.
Now,
I
talk,
understand math-wise, but I don't think when someone goes to the voting box, they're gonna say, oh, it's only 31, okay, cool. And then we end up with a project where now we're, at what point are we ever gonna finish like, to me, it's either, it's gonna be substantially less money, or
you just,
I think all those millions matters, especially with the other capital needs in the town that, you know, the taxpayers will be asked for over the coming years.
Now, I didn't get this fully priced out only because we were moving from Monday night to now, right?
Yeah.
We haven't even been 48 hours yet. But one of the things we talked about is like, can you take any of these options and bring them down, right? And they think they can get, at least the option 1A, the option 1B, if we remove the site work and landscaping and make some small adjustments, they think they can get them, this is still huge numbers, but they think they can get them both under $30 million
With soft costs.
with soft costs, yeah. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I don't have that spreadsheet yet.
Yeah.
But as we were bouncing around, like, cause we were just going back and forth about different,
It's
different things,
where we
right?
are in the project,
Yeah.
right?
They think with some modifications, maybe some adjustments to some design elements, they can get it down to like 29. You know, they estimating on soft costs, you know, what, soft costs is not just furniture, like, you know, and I think that's important to distinguish, but furniture is part of it. Like, I don't think we need, well, I know we don't need to replace all the furniture in the school, right? Like, a lot of that is in good to fair shape. We are already on.
highlighting, you know, architecture.
There's other things too,
Architectural
like it's not, that's,
Contingency.
that 25% is not
Contingencies,
furniture, but like, every dollar counts, right?
Right.
And like, it might not be fully 25% those soft costs, it might be 20%, and then that makes a difference, right?
Well, and I think initially when they bid the project, they did say the soft cost would be 20%. That's
Yeah.
in their bid.
Yeah.
I
So
think
I-
it was in everybody's.
So I
bid.
want to structure this conversation and make sure we're moving the conversation forward, right? Are there options the board does not want to consider and we can just rule out completely?
Well, I mean, Peter started by saying something about the reconfiguration. I don't see that as a reasonable option at this point. I mean, I think we examined that with the hope that if that was gonna be the option, it would be substantially cheaper. And
It's, I don't think it's gonna be cheaper because there was a lot of work that,
Right.
that had to be done.
so to me, to like have to then upset, you know, interrupt three schools and then also remove any potential flex, right? Because now we're putting everything at the max. We're setting the town up for,
I think Campbell would be at the max for a period of time. The other schools, GMS certainly would not be near max. It'd be like 300 kids. So it's and we have, our best building is underutilized.
I understand that, but I don't know that, if we were saving money by doing it, then I would say, okay, but we're not saving money by doing that.
But we're also not gonna beat $30 million. You take what
We're
we
gonna be
could do.
$38 million.
No, we could do it for, I did this, and again, took out the site work and all that sort of stuff, $22 million. Based off the numbers they gave us, that's building, doing the stuff at GMS, CHS renovation, and moving the SAU to the portals at GMS, 17.5, $22 million.
Are you redoing the 60s?
No, because whatever I took, it would not have done that because it's not in that number one,
So,
building reno with replacement systems and secure entrance.
Because I think on that second option to reconfigure, you need to redo the 60s. Like, if you're putting us, you have to keep the 60s if you're putting the SAU in the portables, right? Because you need the classes, right? So like, I think that's gotta be part
Seven
of,
point seven plus soft,
right.
so you're at
30
roughly
plus.
30.
Yeah. We gotta think of a number that's gonna pass.
Right. What are your thoughts, Dan? In
I-
terms, back to the question of what options can we rule out?
Options that we ruled out, we've already ruled out, right? It's sending kids out of district is just, it's off the table, it's gone. And that's just not gonna happen, there's too many unknowns. I personally feel the redistribution among the school buildings, in my mind, is out. Not only is it more expensive coming from Harriman, but it's also, there is a larger scale domino effect that creates that I don't think we don't understand, and we don't know what that's gonna do. I mean, that's gonna disrupt middle school sports, that's gonna disrupt, I know I touched upon it before, and so has Brian, certifications for teachers, right? There's just gonna be some turnout of just teachers don't want to teach in that model. And sure, we can get new teachers in, but now we're leaving good teachers. We're letting good teachers walk away.
It's also like a year longer, isn't it? Didn't they say that that was like a 36-month?
It is longer
Yeah,
to,
it
Yeah.
came from 27 to 36 or something.
Yeah, so it's a longer construction period. The other concerns that I have,
and you're impacting all three schools.
right,
With
it's all
every
three
student in
schools.
town.
And I guess in my way, the way I look at this, GMS would be the last to be touched. Because in order to move students out of GMS, you gotta move them to LMS. In order to move students out of LMS, you have to do CHS first.
Right.
So it's gonna go CHS, then LMS, which is minor, playground and a little stuff, right?
LMS is.
Right. So it's maybe that can go in parallel, but then it's GMS. So now you're touching all three schools potentially at the same time. Now you don't have swing space. So one of the biggest things that Harvey kept bringing up is, as we do any of these projects, you need swing space for you to touch a part of the building and no one be there.
All right, so I also agree with Matt and Dan on this one. Like, I just don't see impacting all three buildings and every student in town, and then changing the sports, changing the way our model works is a viable plan. And plus it costs more per the estimates to do it. It doesn't seem like a good, that's a good option.
I would say that if that option included going down to 2 buildings,
Right.
which
I
we
was-
can't do,
Yeah.
right? We just have too many students to do that right now.
The time to talk about that was before we invested the $7 million in LMS.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And just
That-
because you
Different
can,
board though at the time.
right.
Yep.
Very different.
Did you see a laser hit you when you said that?
Sure, man, yeah,
But-
possible trash bin.
Yeah, I get, because then you just save the utilities on a third building, right?
Right.
It's that can be substantial, but we're not in that situation, so.
Yep. All right, so that leaves us with option 1, right, in 1A, 1B, right? What are the board's thoughts on 1A, 1B?
1B.
1A is what was described as the ranch style, 1 floor, bigger roof, right? L style as an addition. 1B, 2 floor, a little bit more money because you have stairs and an elevator.
But
less of a-
potential
but less-
economies of scale in terms of,
Less of a footprint, gives the town more opportunity though for future expansion because it saves on space in terms of land that you're building on.
You expect a little, I mean, marginal, but you would expect savings to
Savings
some
in
of your
utilities.
utilities.
Yes.
I think that with anything that we do, like the big question is like, how much are we future proofing the town, right? And we can't ever be 100% certain about
Right.
that. And so I think that anytime you're doing something like this, you should try to choose an option that's going to leave the door open if there's a need that we're not foreseeing.
Yep.
And so,
Agreed.
I mean, they were very clear, like, yeah, we could do the ranch, but like, if we ever had to add a second story onto that, like, we
It's an
can't tell you-
exoskeleton,
we
it's gonna
can't
cost
tell you that the
more.
code is going to be the same. So,
Right.
to me, it's a little bit more money, but I think it's
I think it's 1B.
yeah.
Would that
Okay.
then necessitate the removal of the 60s building?
Well, if you're gonna do it all at one time, then that's the idea, that essentially that addition takes off the 60s building.
Okay, so let's
What's
stick
the
with
cost
this.
to remove
Could
the
we-
60s building, do we know?
To re-
So I just want to make sure we're not going on different tangents, right? So 1B costs what?
35, but I think you would take off the site stuff, so you're looking at 32.
Okay, so 32 million, all right, and then the other option is, so now let's take that 32 million and compare the other option of a scaled back phased approach, which is addressing the infrastructure at GMS, keeping the 60s building, the 60s wing, but doing so in a way that isolates it and allows the envelope of that building to be safe and secure, right? But allowing it to be decommissioned at a later date. Keeping the portables, right, for now, and that'll be part of phase 2, where then you take away the 60s building, you take away the portables, and you build an addition at that point in time.
So I just have two questions. The first would be, what would the
You okay?
ultimate financial impact be, right? Because I think that there's gonna be some people that will ask that, like, at what point are we looking at doing the second phase? And like, what are we actually saving people by
I
doing
think it
that?
might depend on population growth.
I mean, and that savings is somewhere in the ballpark of $9 to $10 million now.
Right now, but I mean, are we saving that for 2 years? Are we saving that for 10 years? Like, I guess what's the,
Couldn't tell you. And the board has to be comfortable with continuing with the portables, right, which were never
Right.
meant to be a long-term solution.
well, and we know that the portables, we just discovered that the condition of the portables was not that great. So,
That's the hardest pill I have to swallow,
Right.
is we have to live with the portables for X amount of years still.
the other question that I would have is, what does it really entail to make the 50s, 60s building livable, right? Like, how much money are we gonna invest in that we're gonna then potentially demolish?
I think that's the variable right now. Do we have any information from?
From what they sent me today, it looks, again, they were doing this quickly,
Sure.
but about $6.8 million to make it livable.
And it was $7 million.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
8 million to
livable
completely
now.
redo.
How livable does it need to be?
That wouldn't, like, make it more secure. When I say secure, like, make the systems more efficient, make the, there's bird nests that we've had to dig out of there and like.
So
do
to-
all
So
that.
let's close
We're gonna
the
do that
envelope.
Roof, right? We're gonna.
Look,
do
it's,
the roof.
it's new flooring,
HVAC.
it's like, it's creating a new safe space for that 60s wing, but not changing the footprint of it, right?
I think the hard thing with the
It does not include the
60s,
envelope, I just wanna-
It does
That-
not include the envelope?
Correct.
includes
It would-
mechanical
it's-
stuff.
Right, it's the mechanical upgrades.
But so why are we're gonna do
It's the system
mechanicals?
upgrades, but not the
Yeah, so,
envelope.
well, okay, so
For
by
that
closing
price
the
that they
envelope,
just
I would
quoted
assume,
us.
let's plug the holes so we don't get bird's nest. Let's seal the air gaps,
Yeah.
but let's not insulate, build out the walls
So
to
we don't
do
even get the value
R20
of the
insulation.
improved mechanicals. Because we're taking, as they've said, that's the least efficient portion of the building.
Well, it's that, this is.
I think the hard part is that section of the building is really poor.
Yeah,
Like, as we've
it-
gone
it's
through
that,
this.
it's that far gone.
Aren't we
and-
doing a new roof
Are we
across
doing a
all-
new roof?
We're doing a new roof over the whole building, correct?
Yes.
If we do
Well,
this
but
stuff?
again, this plan was to remove that. So now we're talking about keeping that.
Like, I think these are the things we have to
Temporarily.
kind of go back and forth with them still on. Like, if you're, like, here's the thing with the phase project, and I don't know the right answer. We're talking through this together right now, right? Like, you're gonna invest whatever amount of money it is. $5, $7 million into that 60s building, which if everything goes as planned, you're gonna tear down, right? So, like, it's a tough pill to swallow, but if that gets everything else done, then maybe that's the pill you have to swallow, right?
I just-
But like,
it's a-
if you were going to actually save that section of the building, then like we have pricing for that and would then save that section of the building, but it might not be efficient because you're boxing yourself into that footprint so much.
I think that the other thing that we're not calculating again is like, if we're not taking care of the envelope, we're not getting the efficiencies that we're hoping to gain from
Right.
improving.
Right.
So like now it's not just $7 million, it's $7 million plus the loss in savings of.
So, and I guess my vision when I suggested this is that you take an in-kind, right? You don't go for the high-end efficient systems for that building. To isolate it, you get a small boiler just to do that building. It's
Just
gonna
to do
be
the 60s building.
just to do the 60s. Let everything else go high efficiency, renovate, fully insulate, do all the stuff there to take that advantage. And then you just, again, right, I call it a Band-Aid with the notion of it's a stopgap. Now, at my company, when we do major building shuffles, this is exactly what we do. We do a small piece, we shuffle people out, we make it livable, revamp it a little bit because it's going to go 5-7 years, and then they're going to go move people back in, completely redo wholesale other complexes and buildings, and then they just start playing that game
Yep.
as they go
But the
around.
difference is that they can plan, they're planning for the capital improvement down the road and they make the decision. on
Let
the
me
capital
ask,
Yeah, exactly.
let
I
me ask the
understand.
question that is the question in my mind, right? Is the board's appetite to invest and do this once and do it right? Or is the board's decision to get something that passes this year? Peter?
I think we need to get something that passes, because we've let this linger forever, not we necessarily this group, but boards going back and the town going back 20, 25 years. We need to do something to make the conditions at GMS better. And we'd love to have the Cadillac, but we just.
Let's be clear though, we're not talking about a Cadillac, like, we need to be clear about that.
Let's be real about.
Well, but
what's
someone
gonna
said we
pass.
don't need state of the art, and like, let's just be clear on what we're designing, okay? Like, there are elementary schools that are costing $150 million. Like, we're designing an elementary school we're renovating an elementary school that we're spending $30 million on. Like, I know it's a lot of money.
They're either in Concord, where the voters have no say, or they're in
But-
Massachusetts, where they're building these monstrosity of schools.
But the fact of the
that have
matter is,
all
I'm
the-
just saying,
all the
like,
business
but
to
I
run
just
it.
don't think it's fair when we say
So,
state of the art, or we
what
say
is your position on
Cadillac.
my question?
My position is that I think the problem, I understand and I agree that like we need to get something done. However, I don't think that we have any grasp of what this is going to look like from a long-term plan. And I think that if we get just a small portion of this done, we may be putting ourselves in a position where we can't get the rest of it done. And we're still on the hook to maintain, a building that we're gonna put, in-kind replacements on.
That is the
We're
risk.
still gonna be dealing with the situation with, the utilities costing what they're costing. We're still gonna be dealing with undersized classrooms. We're still gonna be dealing with no emergency lane around the building. Like, all these things that we may never solve, but we're gonna solve like a couple of them. And I get it, it's good to solve a couple.
We need to solve something, and if we ask for $35 million, we're gonna get nothing.
I feel like if we ask for 32 million, we're gonna get nothing.
I mean, when we started this, we talked about 20 million and under, and we thought that could pass.
But what we're finding
And I
out
understand it,
is,
and that's where we are, but so now we need to think of what can the town, what can the taxpayer.
Correct. Regardless of, we all understand the need. We all want to address it and do this right. What can taxpayers afford? And what?
We don't know.
And what, right, but what do we want to put on
Walk
the
around
warrant
town.
article that we think is
well,
worth
you walk
asking?
around town, you're gonna get, half the people are saying, I can afford nothing.
Right, agreed, but
Yep.
what do we think is worth asking? What do we think is that fighting shot and worth asking, that you think, you know what, this does start to address some of the problems, we are moving the needle, it's been far too long, let's go for it.
So
To me, that's the 23 and a half,
that
all day long.
23 and a half, which gets us keeping the 50s and 60s.
Keeping the 50s and 60s, it keeps the portables, which I have a real hard time with, because those things need to go.
Let
They
me
just
ask,
do.
let me
But
ask,
It is what it is.
how many classrooms do we have in the 50s and 60s?
is a decent amount.
6, 7, 8.
I was gonna say eight,
Yeah.
but
I can never find the math when I need it.
So
Give me a second.
I guess my take on this is we're not gonna get the full project passed. As much as we all want it, it's just not gonna go.
There may not be a phase 2 for a long time.
Right.
Right.
And it may mean, right, so Matt, and I hear you on the 50s and 60s,
12.
We had the
specials.
portables at LMS for 30 years.
Yes.
I'm almost inclined to
You
look at
were in
I'm
those
almost
portables.
inclined to look at a portable solution in conjunction with that plan, as opposed to keep putting money in the 50s and 60s.
I think we have to do something to the 50s and 60s.
Well,
kinda
my
like
thought
that
is
idea.
swing a wrecking ball into it and put portables for like we're gonna spend $7 million for something that we're
Do
gonna
you get
tear
any
down.
idea what it would cost to tear that down?
To tear it down?
A lot.
I mean, it's in the millions.
It's in the millions for
it's
sure.
in the millions.
We know that.
Yeah,
To
to tear it down.
To tear that part of the building down is in the millions. We know that.
So, Matt, just.
To help your discussion, or to muddy your discussion, I don't know what I'm about to do. Like, let's say 23 and a half, and then let's say 32, because of the site work. Is that $8 million difference worth holding on to the portables?
Not ideal, but I think it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's all
We'll
about
give it
what
the
can we
best
get
chance at
past.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I think
So-
we've all known that since the beginning.
So I'm going to turn the question over to Julie. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Sure.
Right. Do you have any modeling from a bond perspective that we can start to take a look at and tax impact?
Yes, I was actually working on that as we came to the meeting tonight, so it's not complete, but I have some rough ideas. I'm looking at bonding for 23, 29, and $32 million separately. I can give you, all right,
Do you have that 23 one?
Yeah, let's look at,
What's 29?
I think it's
Where'd you-
the other.
29 is when we were just having conversations with Harriman. They think if you got
Without-
rid of the site work, they could maybe like, if you were to take option 1B, get rid of the site work, now you're down to 32. They think there's a chance they can knock another
So
3 off.
I would be more comfortable with
For some reason, it does not work.
really dialing that in
Yeah.
and figuring that we could, through our own capital planning, tackle site work without having to go for bonds.
I would agree. I would say that's an option, but I guess my thing is, if we're able to do a phased approach and keep 60s livable, right? Let's say phase 2 never passes, right? We don't get the $13 million addition or a $12 million, but then it's $8 million to redo the 60s, right? So then we can go back and redo the 60s back up to current codes and standards and everything else as a phase 2 backup. It's 75% of the cost, we get the full capacity, but we don't address the capacity concerns or the educational concerns that Dan Mitchell has.
Right.
Which I
Well, we don't really know what they were talking about doing on the inside of the building as far as collaborative space and stuff like that. They just sort of gave us.
Well,
what
they
I
were
would
gonna,
call a
they
loose
were gonna
estimate.
right-size the classrooms.
So,
all right,
can we?
Julie,
can we do that?
take us through the numbers, please. What do we got?
So this is for a $23 million bond here. We have options of 20-year, either level or level principal, level debt, 25-year for both as well, and then 29.
Yep.
Overall, we're looking at, let's see, if we're looking down, go down lower, we have the estimated tax impact for the first year and then also for year 2. So year 2 is going to be, obviously, be a little closer to the ongoing impact.
So let's take a $600,000 house.
What she got, 5 something, I think.
So the first year is this column 19 right here. You all, we shared this with you too, if you can't see it
Yes.
up on the
I
board.
see the house right there.
And then this would be year 1, but year 1's not as much of a payment because it's only half of a payment essentially. And this is how much it would be for a $600,000 house, so about $173.80. That's across the board for all of them. That next year, which is when you do a full payment, that 33 is the jump here, depending on what you're doing.
And I'm sorry, this is for what project?
23 million.
This is 23 million, 20-year principal, 20-year debt, 25
what I'm
principal,
saying.
25 debt.
Right, and so for, I don't know if this is being projected on TV or not, right, but in transparency, so for a $23 million project for a house appraised at $600,000, after year 1, so beginning year 2, that equates to about $630 increase in taxes.
If you're doing that 20, you know, if you did a 25-year or a
Right, if
30,
you're doing a 20-year, if you're doing a longer bonded, that's less.
but you're paying more in
that
the
was
long run.
that was level principal or level debt.
Level principal is the first column.
Okay. Because level debt, you get a smaller payment.
You get a smaller payment, but you're paying higher
Yep.
interest.
So what is the current tax rate on a $600,000 house? What, overall tax rate?
Let me
You
see.
got that?
So.
That seems like
It's $14.
It's 10%.
It's like $14 per thousand.
So, 600,000, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Well, I mean, that's roughly what was posted out on the town's webpage. It's $14.14 per thousand.
It's right around there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that feels like it would be like a 10% increase in people's taxes just for this.
We have a huge problem.
Oh, agreed.
I mean, it is.
1420. Thank you. Rick.
1420, thank you.
All right, can you show us what this will look like? I don't wanna look at 29, I wanna look at 28 million.
All right, so 28 million, that I'm still working on, but I can give you some rough numbers that the bond bank gave us.
You couldn't use 29?
We can use 29, that's fine.
Let's use
Do you have 29 up there?
Yeah, she does.
It's gonna be pretty close.
Is that these ones?
I don't think 29 is complete yet, yeah,
Oh, but if
You got any part of it?
so.
85,
Give us a
20.
sec.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't have, but I have it on here. So we'd be looking at for like year two, so FY '28. For the level principal 20-year, we'd be looking at $1.34 estimated tax.
And what was it here?
Tax impact, and I don't have the calculation for the on the assessed value.
Was it $1.06 here?
$6. So just on a $600,000 house, right, the 23 million is a 7.4% increase on current
Well,
tax.
what is the?
rate.
I think people are going to better relate to what the actual dollar, like that. What
Yep.
Andrew just said, 634. So what? Let's just try to figure out what that.
Well, 634 on, $600,000. I just did it here. That's $8,500 and 8520 a year in taxes.
Yeah, on a 29 million, I'm just gonna rough estimate in my head, it's gonna be somewhere in the $900 range.
Will it drop that
Do it
much?
real quick.
Yes. Millions. You're talking adding millions, yes.
I understand that. Thank you.
What'd you say? 1.34.
Yep.
I think 804 is what I just got, but don't.
For 20?
Yeah, for 20.
Right, and that's for level principal.
Okay. I mean, so that's it, right? Those are the numbers, right? So now the board is seeing the actual impact of these decisions, right? And what that looks like for us. So does that change any perspective from board members about what to do on a phased approach for this warrant article, or the full 1B option and moving forward with that?
I would be inclined to take off the landscaping side of it and to try to find a way to budget that through our budgeting process over a period of years, because that's something we could control. I still am very strongly opposed to phasing it, only because I don't think we're doing anyone a service by doing that. I think we're gonna waste $7 million trying to get this portion of the building livable for some period of time, while we're gonna then ultimately, if we wanna do what's right for the district and the kids, to get the right size classrooms and to fix the problems, we're gonna come back and ask for it again, and they're gonna still pay for it, and they're gonna pay more for it because we're phasing it. Because it's gonna be more expensive down the road when we do it again. So I don't think we're doing anyone a
But it has no
favor.
chance, it has no chance to pass.
Right.
But you can't even tell me that 23 has a chance to pass. Like,
I think
I can
has
say
a
it
better
has-
chance
it has
to
a better
pass than
chance.
well,
29
sure, of
on
course
the
it does.
And if we get nothing, we're waiting a whole nother year, potentially two,
do
to even,
anything.
to do anything and to address any of the systems. And I have a real problem with that.
We have to do something.
well, the
as
good
soon as
news
possible
is
to make
that
it
I'm
better.
one of 4 votes, and it sounds like I'm going to get outvoted.
Well,
so that's
this is
okay
why
with
it's
me.
important discussion, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, look,
one other-
I'm
one-
just gonna make a motion, and we're gonna do it through a motion, right? I'm gonna make a motion to put on the warrant article 23.5 million.
I'll second.
Motion by myself, second by Mr. DeWitt. That motion's purely based upon a phasing approach of what we talked about tonight.
I think that, personally, I think we need more detailed information before we vote on this. And whether that's another week or we have a special meeting. But we have kind of ballpark estimates, and we would need as solid number as we can get. Because if it's 23,000.
We have that from Harriman.
But that's what they've done over the last 2 days, right? It's not, I don't know how confident they are in those numbers.
We got that tonight.
And they're confident in those numbers?
There is a level of confidence with it, yes.
They're looking for us to
we-
make a decision so we can get to that
One of our
guaranteed maximum.
conversations is that in their line of work, they get to this point a lot with districts, with municipalities, where it becomes about a number. Like, and they'll do the work to the number that you give them, right? Like, so if the number is 23.5, that's the motion right now, they'll do everything they can 23.5, and we'll work with you to hit that point, right? Like, they gave us an estimate today, which was like 23.6, right? I'm assuming they could get that down to 23.5, if that's ultimately what the number is, with a little bit here, a little bit there, and they'll figure it out, and they'll get that work there, if they think that's the number that we can pass with. One other just food for thought, we asked them to look at the on-site insight report, and if you didn't do any upgrades, you just renovate the existing building, they think it's much higher than what's listed in that report.
Yes.
And if you put in soft costs, it's approaching $23 million. So, like, that seems to be the number that it's gonna take to at least fix that building, is $23 million. So, now they base that on, I have a whole long email here from them, I won't get into every detail. But, you know, even Tina, who was the engineer who did that on-site insight report, when you go back and actually read the report, she acknowledges that she didn't price out insulation for the 60s building, and that's a huge thing Harriman's on, right? She didn't price out some of the construction fees, some of the other work that would have to be done to do that. And then if you go back and look at the minutes from when she came and spoke to the board last year, she spoke of that's an incomplete number. So, you know, Harvey priced it out. They think with construction it's about 18, and then when you put in the soft costs, it gets up to about 23 to just fix the building. Like if you were to bring it up to current conditions without changing the footprint, without the secure entrance, without any of that. So
Mr. Cutter, do you remember the video walkthrough of the second FIC meeting that I went to, where you were there and you saw me racking numbers in my head as we walked around the building? Do you remember the number I told you?
No.
I said 23 to 29 million just to renovate, just to redo that building as is. I said it was 23 to 29 is what my estimate would have been. So, I mean, that falls exactly where I would expect it to
Right
be.
range. Yeah.
My inclination is to not put something on the warrant this year.
And just wait a whole nother year.
And because I think that we're sitting here right now just as you're taking a shot in the dark at what we think the taxpayers are gonna support. And the reality is, we had, how many people were at that last one? I mean, all we get accused of is no one
50.
knows about this.
About 50 people, I think.
Yeah.
So we had 50 people there. So 50 people understand now that we've now looked at a renovation and it's gonna cost us 30-something million dollars.
I'm not afraid of asking. It sounds like you are. If it fails, it fails.
I'm afraid of asking for less than what we need to solve the problem.
See,
So
this is where you and I are going to just disagree, and that's okay. Right?
So
I'm confused. The on-site insight report that was done a year ago, whatever it was now.
Yep.
It was a really low number, right? And we had some people harping on that number. It would just be that was all in kind, and we all agreed that we weren't gonna do it. We weren't gonna replace a boiler from the 1940s with another boiler from the 1940s. But it was my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Harriman was not pricing their work out based on that. It was gonna be new.
Correct.
New,
Right.
new HVAC, new heating, all that sort of stuff.
Correct.
So what's this other 23 million? Or
I asked them to be prepared to talk about the on-site insight report. And like to start reading and digesting that report, because as I would expect, and I think these are fair questions from the public, you have this report that says, and we've heard it in public comments many times, that it's gonna cost, $7 million according to this report to just fix it. Where if we have these people looking at our systems, tell me what the real cost is for this, right? Like, is it $7 million? Like, you're in there anyways looking at all of this. Tell me what it's going to be. So they did that for us, so we could get a price of, like, if you just did what's in the on-site insight report and do it properly, and you bring it up not in kind but into modern stuff, it's going to cost you this $23 million.
Which again, is not addressing the educational.
No, it's just dealing with the current building.
So we're at 23 million.
And it's
just to-
$20
That
million
includes-
less than what we went to warrant article
a year ago.
a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
I guess.
And that project would cost you $48 to $50 million.
Yep.
Plus, and then you gotta add interest, it was 53 or 55 million or something on
Correct.
the last one.
So I'm gonna call the question.
Okay.
You didn't even get a second yet.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. we had
Me.
discussion.
Sorry.
So, question, another question, if we vote on this, right, is to put the warrant article on the ballot, does that also say we're supporting it?
So right now, we're not voting on the warrant article. Right now, we're voting on the 23.5 number
To put.
to
into
put on the warrant article, and then we're gonna vote on warrant articles after.
Today, or next meeting, or,
Today, because they have to go into budget committee. So right now, it's do we agree to the 23.5 number, right? And then we have to agree on the language of the warrant article.
so do we have, why does it have to be done today? Can we take another time before the next meeting to get a more finer point on it and have time to really sort of digest what it's gonna be and see what it's gonna be?
Our next meeting is January 7th.
Yeah. You're gonna have to do a bond hearing on probably January 15th. So that's like your drop dead.
And when's the budget hearing?
Same day. I would do both back to back. Well, because we have a window where we have to do a bond hearing. You might as well do them both back to back. You either start with the bond hearing and then go into the budget hearings, or you do the budget hearings and then into the bond hearing. I would do bond and then budget is what I would do. And just do it on one day, bring everyone out, because that's what everyone's gonna talk about.
Right.
So you might as well just do it on one day. So I would do it on we haven't officially scheduled that yet, because we needed this conversation first. But tentatively, that's what we have kind of lined up.
I would be more comfortable if we had more time and let the advisory group and maybe even the FIC have a chance to sort of digest this, and me have a chance to digest it better than just this conversation here tonight. But that's just one man.
I mean, I'm a no, so. So if you're,
Okay.
I mean, you can, I mean,
just
just to talk you through
at a
different
minimum, I
things,
would-
right? Like, you can, do a warrant article with a number on it that you have through deliberative to alter, like if you want by motions.
Right. You
Right?
can still
Like,
change this.
you could change it to $32 million at deliberative, right? You could change it to $1 at deliberative, right?
You can
Like,
change
could
it on
do
the 7th.
You could change it at the 7th. You can do whatever you wanted to. You don't have to, you're not locked into the number you picked tonight. I think what I would ask of the board is a decision of whether or not we're putting a warrant article at all on related to this project, because we have a bunch of work associated with bond people if we're gonna do that. If the decision tonight of the board was like, we're not gonna do this, great, well, we can hold off on that bunch of stuff. If the decision of the board is like, we're putting something, even if we are still gonna work through the number a little bit, then we gotta schedule a bond hearing, we gotta get all our ducks in a row and do everything associated with
So,
that.
I think in our conversation on Monday, you mentioned whether we voted on an article this year or next year would not change the start of
No,
construction.
well, I followed up on that. I did say that the other day when we spoke, but like following up with Harriman.
That can't be true.
That's not true.
Okay,
Like, it's-
okay,
it's-
sorry.
If
Then-
you waited
then
a-
I take it back.
If you waited a year, it, like, right now, if it passed in 26, shovels would go in the ground in 27.
Right.
If you waited to 27 to pass it, shovels would go in the ground in 28.
Yeah,
There's like
it's a year for year slip.
My view is full steam ahead. We have to ask. We have to ask.
And you wanna
My view
ask
is
for the
we've known
phased
for a
approach.
week what this, we've known for, we were, this entire process, we were expecting to be able to do a project that started with a 1.
It's what we asked.
We're
We've
hoping.
been on the facilities committee for 2 years. This is what we've been pushing for. And now you're gonna back out.
No, because I think that, because
Blowing my mind.
you're trying to do half a project.
I'm trying to do a project that passes and addresses the needs.
It's not addressing the needs. It's
All right.
half a project.
So,
Call a vote.
It's addressing
All those in
something.
favor of putting of the phased approach in 23.5 million, please say aye.
aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstained?
I'm an aye, sorry.
For which one?
I'm really torn as to whether we should put it up without the more information, as much information as possible.
So we have up until deliberative to get that information.
I need to know what he's voting for.
He-
We have
he's
2
still
yes,
deciding.
1 no, and 1 I don't know.
One I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm a no.
Okay,
So the motion fails 2-2, right? And we're back to no number decided amongst the board. Okay. That being said, does the board want this warrant article this year? Because that's what we're talking about now.
I do not.
I would be comfortable putting a warrant article on this year if I felt more comfortable with the information that we currently have.
So what you're looking for exactly what we're gonna get?
I'd like to see what you have seen, what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, are they giving you a guaranteed maximum price for that, even
They
for
are
that?
not giving me a guaranteed maximum price yet.
They need our direction and
Yeah.
what our motion is, our final
Like, I
decision
think
to get to that guaranteed maximum.
They've made their presentation on what they would recommend, right? Without money being a factor, within reason. Money's a factor, right? But like an efficient thing. They're comfortable if we give them a number. This is your number that we think that it is, and they'll do the most that they can with it, and we'll probably have a lot of conversations throughout the design process of what that officially entails. The bones of that conversation would be renovating the main part of the building, doing a secure addition, and making the 60s livable, right? And what that entails would probably vary depending on how the process is kind of unfolding, right? And if that's the number we give them, that's the number we give them. They might be able to do it for less, they're not gonna try not to do it for, if that's the most, they're not gonna do it for more. They're not gonna do more work than what we give them for money. They might do it for less, and then we might have conversations like, all right, this only worked out for $20 million. You got $3 million. Do you want to start any more work? Do you want to do this? What do you want to do with it? Or not? It could be exactly what they say they're going to do for that. So they're prepared to work with whatever number you give them. Like, you've seen different aspects of this cost. Like, if you don't want the whole thing, you want to do a phased approach, give them the number and they'll do the work.
Well, I think the 23 was sort of gonna be would be the phase number.
Right. I mean, this one that they gave us today approached redoing all the systems, right? The renovation idea of just renovating the building, that's 23 something, right? Like 23 something feels like the number, like
Right.
that like whatever we do, unless you're gonna fully go all the way with the 60s, any partial work to the 60s is gonna result in a final number of around 23 something.
So in order to give the admin team some direction, does the board still want to pursue moving forward with the warrant article this year?
I do not.
I am a yes.
I am a yes.
I am a yes.
Okay, so the direction is to move forward with the warrant article, and what is that direction to move forward with? What number? Full project or phased project?
For me, it would have to be a phase project.
For me, it's phased.
Phased.
Okay, so we need, the direction is to get a more locked down number on phased and to share that with the board, so we have a clear picture of what that will entail.
Okay.
We're somewhere in the $23.5 million range, and definitely what the scope of that work would be.
Can we ask if there's anything in particular that you would like to make sure is addressed within that amount?
We'd like to fully understand what's included with the 60s building and what's not,
And-
specifically.
Okay, can I add a caveat? Because I actually liked Matt's idea of what if we just bulldozed it and put portables there to replace the 60s? Because they would be more efficient, they would be insulated, and the building's not falling down. I know it's
We
another
can-
variant for
We
them
can
to
ask the
look at.
question, but I don't know that's a viable option, right?
Yeah,
But-
no, I understand.
It's not crazy. We'll ask.
Yeah, it's, again, that way, it's not a sunk cost, right, to put 6 million into the 60s wing. And sure, it's a rental cost, but it's not completely sunk, lost cost.
You can buy them.
Right.
Yeah, and sell them.
Well, I mean, we bought the ones that are there now, right? And
Yep.
they're only like 8 or 9 years old, right?
Right, but there's a lot of.
And they're a problem.
Yeah.
But leasing them may be a.
Okay, so that's the direction. So we're not gonna have a number for the warrant article tonight, unfortunately. We'll share that news with the budget committee. I know there's members of the budget committee watching tonight, so they already know. And that's just, is what it is.
Okay. Now, tomorrow, when we meet with the budget committee, we have our warrant articles that we're gonna present.
We are going to present this warrant article, right? So we're going to review that warrant article momentarily, and the language of that warrant article without a number.
Yeah.
Right, so I need the board to, at least
give an opinion on the language of that warrant article, number aside, to make sure you're comfortable with the language. So let's move into warrant articles and take a look at that first article, Article 1. So I'll just read it so everyone understands what it says. Shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate the sum of X to fund the design, construction, furnishing, equipping, and related costs of a renovation and addition to Griffin Memorial School, and to authorize the issuance of not more than X of bonds or notes under and in compliance with the provisions of the Municipal Finance Act, RSA 33, and to authorize the school board to issue, negotiate, sell, and deliver such bonds and notes to determine the rate of interest thereon and the maturity and other terms thereof, and to authorize the school board to apply for, obtain, accept, and expend any federal, state, and other aid, if any, which may be available for the project, to use such funds to reduce the amount of bonds. I just lost my spot. Or issued for the project, and to comply with the laws applicable to said project, with the balance of X to be withdrawn from the Litchfield School District Capital Improvement Expendable Trust Fund established in March 2020, and to raise and appropriate the additional sum of X for the first year's payment on said bond or note, and to authorize the school board to take any other actions as necessary to carry out this vote. Now, this is a lengthy article, but it is mandated to be written in this fashion under the RSA.
Yeah, just to go over a couple parts of it. So this has been vetted by two different attorney firms, our own attorneys, and then the bond attorneys that go over this. So this is what they recommend writing here. You see X's for dollar amounts that we have to do. You could, and we left it in here for now, withdraw any amount of money from the Capital Improvement Expendable Trust to go towards the project. We can remove that if we don't expend any of that money for the project. That's fine. That's up to the
That's
board. ultimately.
optional, right? We don't, doesn't require us to.
Doesn't
approve
require
it.
you to do that, correct.
And we would take out the and addition, right? Because it would just be a renovation at this point.
Yeah, if that's where it was, yeah.
I wouldn't,
This should
maybe
be
and or, I wouldn't take it out.
We can make that decision on
Right.
once we have an understanding of what that is.
So that part can come out if we don't end up taking anything out of the fund, but if you take any bit out of the fund, that's what that language is associated with that. New this year is anything, anytime you bond or lease a project, you have to show the 5-year tax impact. There's a couple of different ways approaching it. Julie left a note there on the right. This is based upon just the hypothetical here is based upon a $23 million 25-year level debt bond, and you estimate for the 5 years. You can play around and try to also estimate the town valuation for those 5 years. We've elected not to, and just making a stable estimate for years 2 through 5 here, but there's different ways you can approach that.
Yeah, I would keep it
that
level
guess.
and not guess.
Yeah. So that's year 1, year 5, but you have to show the first 5 years. That's now required by
These
an
are
RSA.
cumulative, right? It's 29 cents the first year, 77 the second year, and another 77 the third year.
Correct.
Another 77.
Right, because it's based upon like you putting it on top. Now, like if we were to like have a budget a year from now that was under, right, like it may not end up being a 0.77 increase, like for example, right, like that's just what it is. Now, once you put this in, if you like level fund it, for example, you actually don't see the tax increase because it's just then part of the budget. Like think about the lease you have for the middle school right now. It's just in there. You're not seeing that tax increase every single year because you've accounted for that in your budgeting. So you have to show it in this warrant, but that's why it's level from there, because that's the level amount in the budget kind of moving forward.
Why
Does
is
that
it
make sense?
continuing to go up after year 3? I would think that it's the same amount at that point and not compounding year after year after year.
That's what I mean. Like you have to show like what is, I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining it, right?
So, because my thought is it's compounding, right? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I know you're saying, but I don't think that's actually what's happening here.
Right, like it's not an additional 0.7, then an additional
Okay,
0.7,
that
it's
was my
not an
question,
additional,
was-
right. It's like year 1, there's like on this year's budget, there's be a 0.29 on it. On, if we took this year's and rolled it over a year forward, there'd be a 0.77. And then the third year, it's still, if
It
everything
stays
else is
at
level, it's
0.77.
0.7.
So 4 and 5 I think that's confusing.
I know it
Confusing
is.
to me.
It's not a great RSA.
That's, in reality, that year 4 and 5 would be 0.
It would be 0, but people are still paying .77,
Right,
even
and
though
you
it's
gotta
not
write
a
it.
new
It's from-
.77.
Yeah.
3 through 5 are,
3.77.
yeah, 3 through 5 are 0, if you think about it, because once you
Yeah.
establish it.
Right.
I thought it was the
It's-
first 3 years.
No, it's the first two.
2, because the year 2 is when you're starting to make that full payment.
Right.
Yeah, so the
Now, we'll
RSA is
check,
asking you
but
to
that-
show it from 0.
You know, we've got this out to the attorneys, so maybe they'll correct us, but that is our understanding of how this has to
Right.
look, so.
Okay. So in terms of language for Article 1, that is the way the article reads as per the legal team. Any comments? I know we can look to play around with the word addition once we have a little bit more clarity at our January 7th meeting. Okay? Article 2. Article 2 is the budget. I've asked Julie to talk a little bit about the budget, which we'll do so a little bit later tonight. And just to give an update on the budget committee budget process to the board, so you all have a view of that. But Article 2 is, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant or as amended by the vote at the first session for the purposes set forth herein totaling $28,431,538. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $28,072,731, which is the same as last year with certain adjustments required by previous action of the Litchfield School District or by law, or the school board may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 4013-10 and 16 to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. This would
Reminder,
have
these
a-
numbers have food service and the grant stuff in it.
Right, so these are all in budget, all in numbers.
How is this different than what was presented? Because I thought these numbers were different when
Yep.
presented.
So we present, food service is a separate account.
Okay.
That is, so we have to present it separately.
Yeah.
And then, it's grant revenue, is that what that is?
Something
Essentially?
like that.
Right, it's
Yeah.
balanced
Right,
out.
so you include
balancing
grants
out
in your
the grant.
budget, and then it's offset as revenue at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then with the grants, you have to raise the money and then you get the money.
And then you
into
get
us.
reimbursed, right?
Right, exactly.
Got it.
So you have to factor those two things in.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, any questions on Article 2? Okay, Article 3, shall the Litchfield School District vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Litchfield School District and the Litchfield Education Association, which calls for the following increases in salary and benefits at current staffing level over those paid in the prior fiscal year. Those increases would be for next year, 26-27, $263,711, and the following year, 27-28, $483,100. And to further raise and appropriate, well, I just read that, $263,711 for fiscal year '27, and such sum representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at current staffing levels. So this is the new teacher contract for 2 years, and the impact of that teacher contract. Questions?
Nope.
Okay, thanks again to Matt and Heidi, who might be watching, for all your hard work on this one. Article 4, shall the Litchfield School District, if Article 3 is defeated, authorize the Litchfield School Board to call one special meeting at its option to address Article 3 cost items only. Any questions on that one? Article 5, there's a hyperlink to this one. This is the renaming of the Campbell High School baseball field. Shall the Litchfield School District authorize the Litchfield School Board to name the baseball field at Campbell High School after James Jimmy Gorham? Coach Gorham was the original baseball coach at Campbell High School and led the Campbell High School baseball team to 6 state championships. Looking forward to getting that one passed. Article 6, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $250,000 to be added to the Building Maintenance Capital Reserve Fund established in 2005 for the purpose of funding such our school capital improvements, building maintenance, and repairs in the Litchfield School District. Any questions? Yep, this is consistent with years past. We will say that this does have tax impact. That was a board discussion at our last meeting and consistent with our actions from last year. Okay.
Article 7, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be added to the Employee Benefits Reserve Fund established in March 2022 for the purpose of funding the payment of negotiated employee benefits, including but not limited to health insurance reimbursements, changes in coverage or policies chosen by employees, severance benefits, and such other benefits as are from time to time negotiated and become contractual obligations of the district, with this sum to come from the June 30th fund balance available for transfer on July 1st of this year, with no additional amount to be raised from taxation. This amount is consistent with the amount raised for severance payments that were not paid.
Oh, I gotta
out.
address that.
Yeah, that, you
Yeah,
gotta remove
sorry.
that.
That's gotta go.
Yep.
Bad.
So, just for public awareness, this $50,000 is for employee benefits as read, and also to build up some health insurance protection, given the school care issues that we dealt with earlier this year, and just a bit of a reserve in there for the risks that we've seen related to school care. Any questions there?
Nope.
Okay, Article 8. We're almost there, guys. Shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate up to a sum of $50,000 to be added to the Technology Capital Reserve Fund established in March of 2016 for the purpose of funding the acquisition and replacement of hardware, software, and other technology equipment, with this sum to come from the June 30th fund balance available for transfer on July 1st of this year, with no additional amount to be raised from taxation. Questions?
No issues there.
All right. Article 9, shall the Litchfield School District vote to raise and appropriate up to a sum of $100,000 to be added to the Capital Improvement Expendable Trust Fund established in March of 2020 for the purpose of funding the study, planning, and cost of new construction or renovation of existing facilities in the Litchfield School District, with this sum to come from the June 30th fund balance available for transfer on July 1st of this year, with no additional amount to be raised from taxation.
So we left this one here, kind of tied to Article 1, whether or not you wanted to ultimately include this one. So this is what we would include if we were to include it.
I'm okay with it. I don't know why there's question marks at the end of these, though.
That's the way they have to be written.
Yeah, they
the
told us the right
DRA
question
right?
marks.
Okay.
It's part of the
I don't
DRA.
know. It seems to change
It's a
every
question.
year. Shall,
Shall, yeah, I guess.
but sometimes they
You're voting yes or no. They're asking you a yes or no question.
I know.
I guess it's more of a, yeah, I guess you're right.
I guess then this one should be a question.
Okay. Article 10, the final one, and this is a new one for the
Yes,
board
it's
tonight,
new.
right? But given past discussions about redistrict, or the,
I'll give some explanation. to
yeah,
it.
so let me read it. So the shall the school district vote, do we want to say shall the Litchfield School District, like every other article?
Yeah.
Shall the Litchfield School District vote to designate, well, actually, it says it the next sentence, or the next line. Shall the Litchfield School District vote to designate the Litchfield School District schools as open enrollment schools programs under the provisions of RSA 194D to allow up to 20 students who reside outside the Litchfield School District attend Litchfield School District schools, and to limit the percentage of Litchfield School District students who may attend open enrollment schools programs located outside of Litchfield School District to 0%. There's a lot of Litchfield School District.
There is a lot, yeah. Okay, so we talked about open enrollment last time. Ray, jump in anytime you want. We talked about open enrollment a lot, and I actually had said last time I was hesitant to put a warrant article on, but that was 2 weeks ago, and a lot has changed in 2 weeks, so now you see a warrant article. So it seems to be that most school districts are putting some sort of warrant article out this year to protect themselves so they don't get caught with students leaving and then getting bills from other school districts that declare themselves to be open enrollment. So there's the Pittsfield and Prospect Mountain case, just a we talked about last time, but quick refresher. The Prospect Mountain is open enrollment. Pittsfield students enrolled there without Pittsfield declaring themselves one way or the other of being an open enrollment district. And the Supreme Court ruling was that it doesn't matter if Pittsfield has, as long as Pittsfield has not declared that they're not an open enrollment district, they have to pay the 80% tuition for those students attending that open enrollment school. So this is,
Not a sending district, right?
what's that?
Meaning not that they're not a sending district, right? 'Cause
Yeah, so
there's-
Pittsfield hasn't didn't declare anything,
Right.
like that they weren't a sending or a receiving. They have nothing on their books in either direction, which is what currently is true for the vast majority of school districts in New Hampshire, right? Prospect Mountain is a receiving open enrollment district, but not a sending out district, right? So Pittsfield students went to Prospect Mountain, and because there's nothing on the books in Pittsfield, Pittsfield has to pay the tuition for those kids to go to Prospect Mountain, because there's nothing on the books. So what this warrant article is saying is that we would allow students to attend our schools from outside the district. There's a process for this, a qualification process. You have to develop an application. You can do that after a warrant article is passed. And 20 is the number we put in here. We could do more or less, right? Like, we're just putting a number out there for now, for the purpose of this discussion. But we do not want to allow our students to attend other open enrollment schools. Why this is kind of taking a quick, sudden turn is, and I don't know all the details. I have a meeting Friday morning to discuss this in greater length. But it seems like with the Prospect Mountain, who is an open enrollment school, they have a component of their own version of VLAX, I guess is the best way to describe it. So students could attend Prospect Mountain and just take remote classes through Prospect Mountain. So before there was like, well, are we really going to have any, for example, Litchfield students attend Prospect Mountain up there? No, like that, because we don't pay for the transportation. Like there's just, we have some time on our hands. But this fact that they've opened up kind of their own remote school option that would allow, say, a Litchfield student to just take classes through Prospect Mountain through their remote school and never have to physically attend Prospect Mountain, does put us in a vulnerable position from a financial standpoint that we could have kids access that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pay 80% of your tuition, right? Like, that's what it is.
It's
Like,
crazy.
For them to, for a person
Yeah.
to go to remote school, we have.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if that was the intent of all this open enrollment stuff. Like, I don't know if that was the intent of what this open enrollment stuff is, right? We've talked about
He's
some.
shaking his head no, so we're gonna say.
Yeah, like, there's pros and cons to open enrollment. We don't need to rehash that whole discussion here. I mean, we've used an example here, like if, if we're a fully open enrollment, like CTE is a good example of, like, we send kids to Alfred and take classes there because they can do different programs, and that's a different type of thing, but it's the same general idea. Other schools have different
Does
programs.
this, if we say that we do not send outside,
It doesn't affect that at all.
doesn't affect CT?
Right, yeah, it's a different type of agreement. So what this warrant article would do is allow students to come here if we wanted to. I mean, we could not allow any kids to come here as well, and it doesn't hurt, to put it out
No,
there.
so hypothetically
But-
speaking, if they're trying to come here from a district that has voted the same way we have,
Correct.
then they personally would be responsible for their tuition.
It's no longer an open enrollment situation, right? Like, it would have, there are other mechanisms for, let's just say Manchester for hypotheticals here, because
Yeah.
there's a portion of Manchester on this side of the river, right? If Manchester was to put this similar article in, then we believe, but there's no court law for this yet, that Manchester wouldn't be on the hook of paying that tuition bill to us. The family
The
could.
student would.
The student wouldn't, the family would, yeah.
We're certainly not.
We're not.
We're not like required to accept it.
Correct.
for-
Now, there's other things we can talk about what the application process would be, right? I just sat through a 3-hour webinar on open enrollment yesterday, thrilling, and about some of this. There's a lot of gray with special ed still, and like who's responsible and different aspects of it that has to be kind of sorted out still. And just because you said you're willing to accept open enrollment students does not mean you're on the hook yet to accept any of these open enrollment students, right? You need to develop your process, and you can actually be selective with who you're accepting, is the understanding of the current law, right?
In
Like
what
if-
way?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you were a school that valued arts program is what they use, right? Like, and we, in our open enrollment programs, because we're trying to build up our arts, our music program, for example, we could make that a qualifying part of our application. What would you offer our music program, right?
Got it, so it can't be
And-
discriminatory.
It can't be discriminatory, but you can invite certain people
If
in.
you were
yeah.
6'10", person.
And we were trying to build our basketball program.
We'd be happy to bring you
What?
in.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole.
Just to take a pause, right?
Yeah.
It's just past 7 o'clock. Dom, if you want to enjoy the rest of your evening and get to jump on
It's all-
holiday, break activities, go for it, man.
You guys have a good break. Merry Christmas.
Yep, you too. Thank you.
So I have what you see here for an actual warrant article is kind of a mishmash of different versions I've seen. This is Kearsarge has one out, so this has similarities to that. The webinar I went to yesterday was hosted by Drummond and Woodson, which is an educational law firm here in New Hampshire. They had a sample warrant article, which is a lot of where this language is from there. And I've sent this to our legal counsel to review. I just haven't heard back yet on what suggestions and changes they would have for this as well. But I wanted to get something in front of you this evening and have that discussion about how and you want to proceed with this type of stuff, or if you're comfortable with a warrant article related to this.
And it would be, we will not send kids outside. That's 0% is
I
the
mean-
real number.
No, you can do zero is what we've been told.
You're not gonna, the reason this exists is school choice. You can't tell a student you can't go to an outside school.
But we're not saying they can't, we're just saying we're not gonna pay for it.
Yeah. They can still use EFAs.
I can definitely share there are other districts doing this exact same thing.
Yeah. And I think, right, like, to be transparent, I don't want to do any of this. I'd rather let the legislation sort out what their intent is for it. But from a district standpoint, we have to protect our own liabilities here.
I understand that. I'm just saying that this may be one of those unintended consequences that gets fixed, so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that would be great. And then if this, like, if we move forward with this and legislation in session now makes us void in a year from now, great. But like, we don't need to be in a situation where, say we have 5 kids attend Prospect Mountain to take online classes and we're dishing out,
20 grand.
$100,000, like that's gonna put this district in a hole that's not good.
And bear in mind, no transportation is included in this. You're not responsible for transporting them.
No, but
That's why that online thing is like really dangerous, right? Like, because, I don't want to base judgment on why they've made those decisions over there. That's not my place. But like, my responsibility is Litchfield School District, and that's vulnerable for us. That puts us in a challenging spot.
So, any other comments or questions on Article 10?
I guess my only other thing would be with respect to accepting students. My only concern would be, from a special education planning perspective, right? Like, we are always subject to move-ins. But beyond that, we have a pretty good finger on the pulse of what's happening with our identified students in terms of what we anticipate for services. If we accept 20, and this is expanded to then apply to us needing to cover special education costs, that could also be have the same impact as us paying for
Right.
students to go out.
I put 20 there as like literally a random number.
Sure.
Right.
I mean,
think Kearsarge
I'm
put
wondering
30.
if until
like,
this is hashed out, that should be 0.
But
or
it's-
5.
Yeah.
I've seen other districts go much smaller.
Yeah.
Right.
it's a
And
small number.
and again, I think districts are looking to protect their own liability with this right now. So the general consensus is most everyone is going to have something here that puts that 0%, which means, no one's coming, right? Or going anywhere because everyone's going to be at 0. So, I mean, if you want, I can change this to 5.
Is
I
that
don't
going to
think we need a
expand?
motion.
Like, would that actually? I guess I just don't even understand what would happen for special education, though. Even if a sending district said we don't cover anything,
It's still being sorted out, honestly.
It's
And this
still
is where
being
we can be
decided.
creative, right? I'm not suggesting we do that now, but just strategically, you can. If you're lower in a grade or a subject matter, you could write this article or structure this in a way that
And-
says, "Hey, for grade, we can accept grade 1
Yes.
X amount,
You
grade
can
3
get
X amount."
You can get as specific or as broad as you want.
So if you're lower
It's
in,
like, I'm going
if
back
you're
and changing
lower in
that.
enrollment for a particular grade and you're trying to encourage stability, so you're not laying off teachers or whatever it might be, you can structure this in a way to
Right.
do that.
And for the special education, right, it's 80% of the sending school tuition.
There's some uncertainty about the special ed costs, right? Like, and who's responsible for it. Could the team, like, where does parent choice and the special ed team, like, come through, like, who has priority on right to that? Like, because with special education, it's always a team decision, right? You know, so when you talk about FAPE in these open enrollment situation, like, is a parent refusing FAPE if they've gone the open enrollment
What's FAPE?
option? The
Free and appropriate.
free and appropriate education, that you have to provide that. We are mandated to provide all students. That's the heart of the special ed law, which is why, you know, you can have big costs for it because you're giving them an appropriate education, right? But, so for example, like homeschooling, right? If a family decides to pull their student from the school system to homeschool their student, they've waived FAPE, right? Like, we as a district are no longer responsible for the special ed services because they've made a choice with their education. There's some uncertainty about how open enrollment is interpreted in that formula, right? Like, for example, with charter schools, which is not open enrollment but shares a lot of similarities with open enrollment, it's not a sending district, but the home district does have some responsibility with special education when it comes to the charter school menu. So, for example, if you have a student that attends a charter school, typically the home district will meet with the team at the charter school. They'll come up with the best special ed plan, and that may involve the home district paying some special ed costs, maybe the cost of a para or contributing to the cost of a para, whatever the case may be. The open enrollment, there's just an unknown. No one's tested it yet on who's responsible for what aspects of it.
Yeah.
All right. I want to make sure we're keeping this moving tonight. I want to go back to the beginning and take some board voting on articles. Are we prepared to do that tonight?
Yep.
All right. We're not going to vote on Article 1 as discussed, but I do want to start voting on Article 2. And again, just because we're voting tonight, if numbers change, say the Budget Committee changes numbers on Article 2, which they're still, they have the ability to do, that just means we're going to revote if that happens. Okay, so I've already read Article 2. I'll entertain a motion to approve Article 2.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Shoemaker. Second by Mr. Plansky. Additional discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That carries 4-0. Article 3 is the teacher contract.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Shoemaker.
Second.
Second by Mr. Plansky. Additional discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That carries 4-0. Thank you for that. Thank you again for your work on that one. Good one. Article 4 is the teacher contract. If that gets voted down, we can go back and renegotiate if necessary.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Shoemaker.
Second.
Second by Mr. DeWitt. Okay, thank you. Additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstained? That carries 3-1-0. Thank you. Article 5 is Campbell Baseball Field.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Shoemaker, second by Mr. Plansky. Additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That carries 4-0. Article 6 is the Building and Maintenance Capital Reserve Fund, which is raised by taxation, 12 cents. And this is for $250,000.
This is technically a motion to recommend, right?
This is a motion to recommend.
Yeah, motion, so, motion to recommend.
We have a motion by Mr. Shoemaker,
Second.
second by Mr. DeWitt. Additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That carries 4-0. Article 7 is the Employee Benefits Reserve Fund for $50,000. Motion to recommend.
Yep.
We have a motion by Mr. Shoemaker,
Second.
second by Mr. Plansky. Additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That carries 4-0. Article 8 is the Technology Capital Reserve Fund for $50,000.
Motion to recommend.
We have a motion by
Oh,
Mr. DeWitt to recommend.
second.
Second by Mr. Shoemaker. We're really screwing up the minutes right now. Additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That carries 4-0. Article 9 is the Capital Improvement Expendable Trust Fund for $100,000. I will make a motion, really screwing it up,
Second.
to approve this one. Sorry, Jan. Second by Mr. Shoemaker. Additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That carries 4-0. Is the board comfortable voting on Article 10 tonight?
Yes.
I'd like to see what we're gonna, can we change it to a lower number? If we need, or we change it to
I
five,
changed it to
right?
We
five.
changed it to 5 tonight.
already.
Then I'm comfortable.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Pending legal approval on this last one. I don't know if you want to add that, 'cause legal's still
Why
Why don't we
vetting this.
just wait to vote on this one until we vote on one?
We can vote on this on January 7th. But the
Okay.
budget committee does not need to
I
action
mean,
on
it's,
this one,
it's,
so.
it's like,
Right, yeah, they don't have any.
Go read the bill.
well, I'm reading the statute right now.
Okay, why don't we table this to our next meeting? There's nothing pressing on this particular one.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, and it keeps changing, like, you keep getting more information, so it's just.
It's changing by the day.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you for all those motions and going through those warrant articles. All right, next up on the agenda tonight is a budget update. I'll turn it over to Julie for a quick update to talk about the budget committee process and kind of where we landed with all that.
I've attached the document that we've been utilizing that's been capturing all of the motions between the school board and the budget committee.
Do you guys see that attached?
I do not.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's in her report.
Oh, it's in
is.
her report? Okay.
Yeah.
Just go there.
Should hyperlink to that specifically, so.
Yes. So essentially, we are at, currently, the general fund budget is at $27,045,024, which represents a $213,892 increase, or a 0.79 increase over the current year's default budget. We've, certainly worked very hard to come in with a proposed budget that is responsible to the taxpayers, and also making sure that we're, we have a full year under our belt and we know, what our needs are as a district. We really worked to create a budget that is going to be helpful moving forward, but also can accommodate a warrant such as the building. So there have been fairly minimal cuts through the budgeting process. And again, they can see the outlined motions and how that has affected the overline budget.
It was just the one meeting so far, right, where you guys made cuts?
We had two.
It was two.
Yeah. We had two. And just for board reference, this year in the current budget where it stands is approximately $30,000 over this year's default budget. So, I mean, we're very close to,
What were the cuts, what were the total budget committee cuts?
there's this, can you see the sheet?
I was just trying to look at it.
If you go into Julie's BA report
Yeah.
and you click on that document, where it says
Thank you.
document, yeah,
171K.
right, you'll see all the motions and
Hundred and
cuts there.
seventy-five thousand.
You'll see
Total
BC,
budget.
you see there's a BC changes tab there too. Right, so the larger one there was the budget committee did action $158,000 reduction as a bottom line salary and benefit reduction. This is in line with past year's attrition cuts. This is on top of the $150,000 reduction that the school board made. So, and then there are some other motions that they had made as well.
Where did they, so I didn't get to watch the last one, I watched the one before it. Oh, they did reduce the PSATs.
They did, but for a less amount, based upon number of students who were taking those PSATs. So there was logic behind that. It wasn't a full, we're just cutting PSATs. Yep.
So that won't impact the PSATs that we're administering?
It shouldn't, we should be okay, yeah. Unless we have a ton
We
of,
should be okay in that we're gonna find money somewhere else, or we should be okay in that they made.
I think at the
cuts
end
that-
of the
based
day-
upon our actual projected enrollment, we're fine,
Okay.
right? Now, for every kid over than that, we'll have to find the money for that particular test, where it's not the end of the world, we can,
Plan is to still issue PSATs.
yes.
The same number of PSATs.
Yeah, same grades, I think the important thing is.
Okay.
Any questions on kind of where we landed from the budget committee perspective?
I just want to say it. I mean, we came in with a really light budget this year. You guys came in really streamlined. And a lot of that streamlining was based off of attrition. I get that everyone thinks that it's easy to say, oh, well, there's unfilled positions, but we are basically signaling that we don't really care to potentially meet certain needs that we should be meeting. So.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of we're making the right decisions to right-size the district based upon student population and where we need to be in each of the buildings. And it's taking a different perspective of making sure that we have the right number of teachers, of paras, et cetera, and making tough decisions about positions that we're just not able to fill, and just stop not asking for that in the budget year over year. So
Yeah, no, I feel like we did that already, so then when they doubled it, it's just.
Yep. And part of that is also we have reserve accounts as a protection for us as well. So. Okay, and just as a reminder, the budget committee can still action on budgets, and if that is the case, we will revote on our warrant article. All right, there is a new fundraiser.
All right, I'm gonna lighten the mood quite a bit. I hope that's all right with everyone. This is gonna
Let's
be
do it.
quick. So we're I'm just gonna go barrel head first into this.
Are we still in Julie's report?
No,
We're coming back.
This
to
is
Julie's
back to the
report in a
agenda.
second. Yeah. So there was like an independent professional wrestling group that approached us. I told you we're taking
Greg the Hammer Valentine is coming out.
turn here, lighten the mood a little bit. And they want to host a couple events in the Campbell High School. This would be in the spring, in like April. And as part of the agreement, they would host the event in our gym, sell tickets, and we would get a profit of the tickets that they sold. It's pretty light work for us. They just need a venue, and they're looking for a venue down here, and happened to catch me on the right day to entertain a conversation. And I said, hey, I'm going to explore anything that kind of helps us from a financial standpoint and stuff like that. So we're vetting the group to make sure there's some sort of legitimacy. We're not just inviting any random people into the building. I met with them. Was that just last Friday? Yeah, I met with them last Friday. That was a trip. They came in with their championship belts and big guys, like bigger than me. It was interesting and stuff. So we're not officially confirmed all the way for this yet, but it seems to be all right. I just wanted to bounce this off the board before we go all the way through with this and make sure.
It's the middle school floor that needs to be replaced, right?
Yes, the middle school floor.
We have it there?
What's that? Well, they want to in Campbell because of the stands and stuff like
But I
that.
was just figuring if they put someone through the floor.
I know.
it's-
Yeah. So does the board have any? As long as we vet everybody who's part of this organization to make sure we're not dealing with any unsavory individuals. Is there any pause from the board on us pursuing this?
Love the idea of new money generating sources. I would just want to make sure the gym floor is protected.
Yeah. So they've done this in other gyms before, and they have apparently, we walked the venue we walked the gym, and they showed me explained to me what they're doing and stuff like that. They've invited me to come up to their practice facility and
He's gonna be in the right.
we discussed
The superintendent is gonna get
some.
body slammed. I can't
We
wait.
I don't want to
Can we take
reveal.
over?
He's gonna snap into a Slim Jim.
Can we bring the foreman in back for this event?
I don't want to reveal too much, but there might be some involvement from some school people here to make it exciting for the kids and stuff like that. So and make it like family oriented and
Sumo wrestling,
Yeah, a little bit fun. So
like Fisher Cats.
So I think we're going to pursue it because it could be kind of fun, kind of different, kind of unique. Like I said, involve maybe a handful of school people so the kids get a kick out of it and stuff like that. But it's different.
Yeah.
Certainly different.
Did they give you an indication of how many they normally get to attend?
Yeah, depending on the size of the venue. Like they just did one, I guess, at Manchester. I think it was Manchester Community College at their gym, and hosted one there, and they said over 500 people there. You know,
Okay.
so that's why I think they look at Campbell with the bleachers and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I-
They could fit.
I
you know.
guess to phrase where I'm coming from, right, is I want to make sure that like whatever we get for potential profit is going to cover the custodians and the,
Oh,
the
yeah,
staff and
yeah.
everything to cover.
So that
us
we also
hosting
have.
that event?
I mean, they would go through our facility rental stuff
Okay.
too, where there's agreements to cover costs associated with
okay.
these different things,
Okay.
right?
That,
So that's part of the deal. It's not just like, hey, you get all of our people for free. We go through the facility rental fees and
Yep.
everything associated with that. So
that's
we might waive
Just
the
what I
actual
wanted.
rental fee if we're getting
No, thank you.
kickback from the event.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the utility costs, the custodial
Yep.
costs, those things associated with it, like
Yep.
we would take care of that with them. So there we go.
Way to lighten the mood.
Something different.
Run with it.
All
I
right.
want to see what your outfit is for this.
Look, we talked about
afraid to
like
It's a diaper.
a whole like storyline they want to do with me and how this is gonna play out. And I mean, I'm a '90s kid, so like I watched Stone Cold and The
I had
Rock.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
This is
right.
right up your alley.
Triple
I
H.
You don't have to
I'm
pretend
here.
that you didn't seek this out. But that's,
Look, when they first called, our like reaction was like, "This is literally what it was." Renee called them back and was like, "Yeah, we'll have a conversation with you if you promise to let the superintendent like get a chair shot to the back." And they were like, "Are you serious?" We're
Renee
like,
wants to
"Yeah."
deliver that chair.
Right? Renee probably does. So they were like enthusiastic that we were into it too. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, thank you for that one. All right, Julie, BA report.
So we did go over the budget. With regard to tuition rate setting, we had discussed at the last couple of meetings, actually, the
Yes.
tuition rate. So I just was looking for a vote with the final
Yep.
rates that we had talked about.
All right, so we've gone through this a couple of times at this point. We made some adjustments based upon board discussion. This is the approved tuition rates for 2025-26. The elementary at an annual rate of $22,223. The middle school of $20,610, and the high school, Campbell, at $23,795, for a district average of $22,208.
So moved.
There's the cost. We have a motion by
Second.
Mr. Plansky, second by Mr. Shoemaker. It's insane. Additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 4-0.
The SAFE grant applications were due last Monday. We have submitted 3 applications. They did narrow the scope quite a bit this time around for the categories, within the categories that you can apply for. And so with that, there were some limitations. But we did put in an application for all 3 schools. And so we're hoping to hear back somewhere between January and March is usually when they let districts know who is approved. With regard to solar, we did receive confirmation from Chief Nickel that the New Hampshire Fire Marshal's Office has approved the energy storage system plans. The Dynamic Grid has submitted, so that is allowing Dynamic Grid to move forward with the build and installation of that storage system.
so I did review that battery plan.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of surprised that it's just a metal container. Question that I kind of had is the main disconnect for the battery system is on the side of that container. And the concern that I have is it has passive fire suppression, which is basically they seal it and they let the oxygen run out. So if that box ever gets hot enough, is there another disconnect somewhere in the line to shut it off from the school?
Somewhere in the building.
Or externally on the building?
Yeah, or external, sorry, so the switch is on the external of the battery container, but like there's no active fire suppression.
There does have to be something separate on the fire panel itself.
Okay, that's.
I thought the box did have fire suppression in it. We talked about that.
It stated passive fire suppression.
Passive, okay.
Passive.
Which is just letting the air run out.
Which, from my understanding, is this isn't like they don't emit foam, they don't emit like a smothering.
Maybe because of the type of equipment in there. Yeah.
Right.
You just can't dump water on it.
Right, you can't dump water, but they have foam suppressions and other systems that they can use, or a powder suppression. But passive to me is that they literally, it's a sealed box and it just waits until the oxygen is gone.
So let's figure out what that is, what passive is exactly, just so we have some clarity on that.
I believe that, I'm probably not gonna get the technical terms correct here, but, I believe that Kay from Dynamic Grid said something about, within each layer, if you call it, that there is, like, basically, there's no way for, if the one part of it became caught on fire, that it would move on to like the next layer, that there's something sufficient there.
If there's questions,
I can get more.
if there's questions, feel free to set up a call.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
That way you
That'd
can
be
just
great.
get them addressed.
Sounds good?
Okay.
Cool. Thank you for taking a look at that.
Yeah.
Do we have a timeline now on like when that pad's getting installed and what? 'Cause I-
I do need to check in. I think that one of the things that may delay things a little bit right now is not, as the building inspector. We do need to
Right.
receive some more information about the site work before some of that stuff can get
Building
like,
inspector
include-
just
especially the.
Resigned.
We have a
Yep.
part-time one, I think, right? Didn't we-
Coming in 3 weeks. I think he's here part-time for 3 weeks to handle, but I think we're ready. But I mean, let's be honest, it's not the ideal time to be pouring concrete anyway.
It's
so
not. It's not.
Take, as someone who's having concrete poured this week.
Yeah. Fun.
Addition? More kids?
I should.
Okay. Continental.
Yes, we did receive a quote from Continental with regard to the LMS parking lot. I've attached that quote for the school board, and also the budget committee has access to that. I did want to talk a little bit more about, though, that it does cover the layout of the parking lot as is. And I know there's been some concern by our facilities director about potential issues under, like, the drainage issues underneath. So there was a question of whether or not, the board would be interested in doing a survey or a study prior to moving forward with work. And
Is
that's,
it really necessary? Like,
Well, didn't we talk about doing a study a couple of years ago?
I'm tired, like, how much, do we need to continue to spend money on studies? Like, in terms of just addressing the problem?
I think what they're trying to get to is something so they can see what's going on underground. And if they rip up the tar and all of a sudden they need to do new culverts and all that sort of stuff, that's gonna add to it.
So
So maybe we
shouldn't,
just do the whole thing.
shouldn't we factor in a contingency to this?
I just requested access to that quote. I don't.
Yeah, I don't have
Oh, really?
access either.
I think you're
Right.
right, I think you're right, Andrew, we should build some buffer in there.
There should be
just
a
in case.
buffer, and I think, the bigger thing for me is it's in kind, I get that.
take yes.
But that parking lot is not ADA compliant, right? And so if you're doing the parking lot, how do we make it future-proof, right? And
You
think,
need someone to design it.
so that's where my head is going, is how do we make it in a way that makes sense for the future and bring it up to where it needs to be in terms of
Well,
standards?
isn't that what you're saying? Is have a survey, like have someone come out and do a actual design for it?
correct. They would check, they would look into see if there's any underliers. I think they have cameras that can go underneath to check, like some of the piping, I guess. There was some concern about there being some significant rot. And then, any other design, issues that may be present in the parking lot that we would want to address.
Now, could Continental do that, or would that have to be somebody else?
I believe that would be someone else. I would need to look more into that.
Yeah.
Man, I would think they have some services that do that.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
I'm sure they got a guy.
Certainly.
yeah, I'm sure they have a guy.
I think we should be looking to do it correctly. So
Yeah,
I think we should-
I think we need to look at what's the end solution.
Okay.
not that this is like a small number, but it's
It's
not,
less than
not
we
as
were
bad as
talking
I,
about
right,
Yep.
it's not as bad as I
at the end of the year.
Right.
Yeah, this can.
Traffic control if needed.
Well, this can spiral out of control. The number is $287,500 just for public awareness. It is a big number. It is less than what the board was originally talking about at one point in time. This can spiral out of control. That parking lot is in significant need of a complete overhaul. There's no question about it. That being said, if we're starting to talk about retaining walls and other aspects that need to be addressed at that, this number can go real high, real quick.
Very fast.
Very fast. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just something to be mindful of.
Yeah, I mean, we should be getting engineering done.
So look, I mean, you know, we're in December, right? If there's any opportunity to do anything like this, it's year-end encumbrance. If we even have year-end encumbrance, like it's a big number. Who knows, right? It would be good to be prepared for the June timeframe with something like this. So if we can start to identify what that might look like between now and then, that would be good. So by June, we have the number that we need to work towards.
Sounds good. And then the last piece I had was there's a few pieces of legislation that have passed that will be effective as we move into January. One of them was House Bill 771, which required an expenditure line for open enrollment tuition, which we did include as just a dollar placeholder in our budget. I did, and this is something that, again, is kind of evolving as we go. Initially, there was not guidance as to where exactly you put that line. There was a general consensus, so it would be a general education line, district-wide. So I did have it as an 1100 function. And then recently, actually yesterday, the Department of Education, the Finance Department actually is requesting that or suggesting that we use an 1109 function, which would just be very specific to open enrollment. So that may be something that we would, if we wanted to do that and keep that consistent, that we may want to change that.
Okay.
That function line. With regard to another bill, House Bill 557, is the requirement to have the average cost per pupil as calculated by the DOE, as well as school district achievement proficiency scores printed on district ballots for SB2 districts, which of course we are. We are currently, I was at a conference on Friday with business administrators throughout the state. And essentially what we're looking for is the DRA is working on template language for that. So once we have that, of course, we want to be consistent. And so once we have that language, we will provide that and we'll make sure to include that on the warrants.
Would that be for this March?
Yes.
Okay.
That is
What
effective this
article
March.
would that go?
So we have to, that's a good question. There's a lot of question here. Like the
Budget line?
It actually
It's
states
Proficiency
just
scores? Like,
it's immediately preceding the question of adopting a school budget. The
Right.
following information shall be printed.
Right.
preceding school budget, so that's our article for,
So it will be like a preamble to the articles. or
So
something.
that's why we're kind of waiting for the DRA to tell us, because they ultimately approve our warrant articles, right? Like, we have to submit the warrant articles to them to make sure that we have legal warrant articles. So that's why they're helping everyone develop a template that they would be okay with that meets this law. So, but we are well aware of it and are ready to go with it. We just
Absolutely.
need that template.
Template, right.
correct.
It's
And-
average cost plus proficiency scores.
Right.
And there's other stuff.
But those are
Yes,
specific
there's
for the
other
ballot.
stuff,
Yes. And then the last one that is, it's definitely a big change for us, is House Bill 1265. And this is a House bill that has a lot of implications. But one of the things in particular is there's a document that's very, very specific. It has to be 2 pages on 18 by 24 inch paper. And it has very specific graphs and information that needs to be on it. It has to have, it's basically a look back of 10 years that includes teacher salaries, administrator salaries, cost per pupil, and there's a lot of requirements. So with regard to the Business Administrators Association here in New Hampshire, we have a template that's been created by one of the business administrators that the majority of districts are agreeing to use so that we are consistent. And there's been a lot of conversation back and forth between districts because there are some things that are like, who do you consider an administrator? There's a lot of conversation about that. So we're going to be as consistent as the other districts. We are going to use the template. We've already started working on it.
Okay.
And we will have that. It does need to be posted prior to deliberative in January. So we will be sure to have that.
So the legislature didn't come up with a template, they just said, here, do this?
Correct.
That's how government like to do that.
And there's also some new updates as well that we're working on for the budget hearing as well. Correct? Is that what this is?
That's
Okay.
the stuff here.
Okay.
Yep. You're referring to, I think,
Yeah, the RSA.
I just had it up earlier today.
Yep.
RSA 189, I think it is,
Okay.
-76, which is related to that law Julie just talked about.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, lots of important updates there tonight. Thank you. Any questions? All right, hearing none. We'll turn it over to Dr. Taylor for a curriculum update.
All right, so Matt, grade schools.
I knew you were gonna come back with something. I'm sure it's riveting. Let's hear it.
So, it's unclear, but I have some information. So they do their ratings on 3 categories on a 1 to 10 scale. The categories are what they call student progress rating, which is academic growth, which in their weighting has more weight than the other 2 categories because they say growth is the most important, so carries a little bit more weight. College readiness rating, which incorporates the SAT, ACT scores, grad rates, and participation in AP courses, and if we have international baccalaureate, and then dual enrollment. And then
Is that, do you know, is that on like a percentage basis so that it accounts for district size?
I couldn't find those specifics, but I couldn't find what their specific weights were for each of these different categories. Right? It says that their student progress rating carries more weight, but I don't know what that means in their formula. And with that academic progress rating, it's intriguing because they said that in states where the student growth level data is not available, they have their own rating. They do a proxy calculation, and I'm wondering if they're using that for our high school where we only have one state SAS test. We do have the SAT, but I'm just wondering what growth data they're using because SAT is taken once, the science SAS is taken once, right? So it's like there's nothing to measure there unless you're looking at PSAT. But so I don't know.
That wouldn't be different in other districts, right?
Right. And the growth calculation too for us is really hard because we have one elementary school, and that one elementary school has like 3 third grade classrooms and then the 4th grade classrooms, and that's it. Other districts have multiple elementary schools that also have 3, 4, and 5 in that school. So Griffin is a little bit of a disadvantage in these types of situations because our sample size is so small.
Right.
Right. So then they also have the test score rating, which it measures achievement. So you've got growth, then you've got achievement, and then the college readiness. So that's kind of how they do that. And then their 1 to 10 scale. If you're in a rating of 1 to 4, you're below average, according to their scale. 5 to 6 is average, and 7 to 10 is above average. So what were we? I forget. We were like 5.
5.
So we were still in the average range in their calculations. We're not below, which is good. And
Swinging for the fences.
Right.
right, but
Solid average.
it's kind of like what we were talking about when we're talking about being labeled a school in need of improvement and stuff like that, where we're at a disadvantage already coming out of the gate because we have such a small sample size comparatively to the other districts in the state. But there's we're doing a lot. Like the teachers are
Oh yeah.
amazing, and so the needle could move. And I look to see like how often this is updated, and they update it as often as they can get the data from the state. So for us, it should be updated yearly, from what I can tell. And that was just
How often
from
do we get the data from the state?
we get it yearly.
So-
Like I have the data already, but we've just been in the throes of all this, so I haven't done another data update, but I have it all ready to go,
So we could always send it to them and say, just in case you don't have it.
just in case. Yeah, because it just got
Look how
released.
proactive we are.
It got released in November, so yeah,
Gotcha. Thank you
That's-
for that update.
you're welcome. And any other questions on great schools?
No.
Okay. So we have our professional learning days on Monday and Tuesday.
Yes.
I'm really excited to have those 2 days.
Some of the staff were talking to me today about it and really excited about the AI components.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's gonna. I'm really excited for Monday morning. We have really great presenters coming from in district and from out of district. I think it's going to be a great experience for everyone. I'm looking forward to the feedback on that, so we can kind of be more robust if we need to in the future.
Lunch on Monday.
And
Hey.
lunch on Monday is being provided by our very own Superintendent O'Connell,
Wow.
who has graciously
be in the kitchen
volunteered to make a lunch. So
Pasta.
very
Lights
excited.
We're gonna see the Slim Jims.
And
That's
he's
where the
even
Slim
gonna
Jims are
cater
going.
to the allergy people.
Yeah, got some gluten-free
that
stuff.
Gluten-free aspect.
Yeah.
So
Great.
that was awesome. So and then our very own amazing Lauren Crowley will be providing lunch on Tuesday. So really excited for that. The afternoon of Monday, teachers are going to be given time to do that instructional resource log that we have to have prepared by October. So I rolled out all of that with a very scintillating video, I must say, for how to fill it out, and a guide for how to fill it out. So hopefully it's as easy as possible to get that done, but they'll start that work, and all of that has gone out to them as of the last couple of days. So it's exciting. Lots happening.
And the holiday break.
Oh my gosh, yes. Holiday break.
Awesome.
Yeah, where I might be finishing writing grant activities.
That's great.
Yes.
Looking forward to hearing the outcome of those 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Well, you'll see that one of the big outcomes next fall when we do that resources guide. So we're starting that way in advance to kind of
Give
de-escalate
people
stress
a
around
lot of time.
it. A lot of time, because essentially we have to go through every resource that we have, document it and catalog it and everything like that. So it's a good productive use of that time and everything. So we'll see.
All right. Thank you for the update.
Yeah.
We have the minutes from December 3rd, 2025.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Shoemaker,
Second.
second by Mr. DeWitt. Additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstained? That carries 4-0. We don't have any policies tonight.
You're all lucky.
Yeah, evidently they're coming. Enrollment, really no changes up to?
May I actually go back to policy for
Oh,
1
sure.
second?
Yeah.
we got a technical advisory this week about audio video recording, and how the adjustments to the parental bill of rights law and some tweaks to interpretations around audio visual recording. So just like an FYI to families out there, we need written consent for a larger window of video and audio recording activities. So everything, at least from our technical advisory we got, including like if kids are videotaping for a project in class and stuff like that. So we're working on probably a form that we're going to try to align it with second semester to go back out to families, explaining that additional permissions connected to different things around audio and video recording. So that comes
Like
out.
Linkscast?
Yes, like Linkscast, for example, right? Even though it's an internal kind of instructional tool that we're not necessarily broadcasting.
What is it on the YouTube channel?
Well, there's different aspects of it. They do some of it just inside the building, and then there's stuff that goes on the social media and everything like that. So we need to expand our permission forms with that. So we're going to try to do that in a timely way that coincides with the start of the semester. So just an FYI. But even things like performances, right? Like we have a Windsor concert for CHS right now. We need explicitly permission to record that if we're going to record that in any capacity. There's a bunch of different things that we have to do that's a little bit more detail oriented than it was.
It's like
in
you
the
need an
past.
iPad when people walk in.
Yeah, kind of. It's,
Right.
Yeah, athletics, which is like bonkers because, they're taking pictures for the newspaper and for this and
Right.
stuff like that. So we're working on that to make sure we follow the intents of that correctly. So just an FYI for the board.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be hard to.
We got a plan, actually. We actually do have a plan.
That are public spaces, right, that you can record anywhere, right? You see those people all the time on
Well,
Facebook.
the
Public
parental,
space, I can do it.
the parental bill law there, tighten that up a little bit, that if there's some sort, like a concert, for example, in the auditorium in the evening,
Yeah.
like that, you need explicit permission to record that. Like if we were recording that concert tonight, putting it on YouTube, we need to explicitly get permission to do that. Even though it's in that common area, any random parent can be videotaping their kid,
Yeah.
like up there and stuff like that, so. We're working through the technical advisory too. We just got it this week. I got it yesterday, or Monday, excuse me, so.
Anything on enrollment? I know we're up to.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
Yep.
Manifest, we have accounts payable of $161,776.21. We have another accounts payable of $153,890.04. We have a credit card manifest of $12,549.08. Payroll, $404,392.01, and 403B, $9,251.56. That is what all of this is, and I think it all has 3 signatures.
Yes, it does.
Fantastic. And with that, that gets us to our second community input this evening. Look at that, right on time at 8 o'clock.
That's
I mean, if we're running
5
to an
minutes
agenda.
early, actually.
No, that clock is wrong.
I got 3 minutes early.
3 minutes early.
Name and address, please.
My name is Joe Lassard. I live at 14 Deerwood Drive. I'm also the co-chair of the FIC committee. I just wanted to come up and add my 2 cents on your discussion on the GMS project. I am, excuse me, I'm in favor of the phased approach that Mr. O'Connell presented, and that I feel like that number is the right number to start with. I think you can go back and forth with Harriman and probably fine tune that a little bit, maybe even come in a little bit lower, but I think that approach gives you a lot of benefits, right? Because what it does is addresses the majority of your building, the main part of the building, takes care of all of those systems issues that we have, all of those other deferred maintenance things that have never been done, and sets your infrastructure up for a longer period of time. Yes, it doesn't address your space issues, right? You're still going to live with the portables, but it gives you flexibility, right? Because that main building is done and taken care of. You could live with the portables for a while. You could upgrade the portables and just replace them with new portables. Or you could eventually do that addition. But at least your main building is taken care of and you've addressed those concerns, the heating equipment, the stuff that is deteriorating that you're gonna have to replace no matter what, right? Those things are eventually gonna fail and you're gonna be having to either pull it out of emergency funds or do an emergency bond or whatever you have to do to get the funds to take care of those things. So if you can take care of that main building now, I suggest doing that. And then you'll eventually be able to come with a second phase, or maybe never come with a second phase, who knows, but at least your main building is now secure, weather tight, has the right systems in it, and can last you for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Any other community input this evening?
Really quick, Ray Peoples, 205 Charles Bancroft Highway. On the wrestling front, we've done it at LMS in the past. It has been done here before.
That's interesting.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right.
Greg the Hammer Valentine was there, by the way.
I don't think we're getting that level.
So
of
it can be
star,
done at
but-
LMS.
There you go.
My kid was in that school in 2004, so I don't know.
Excellent. All right. Anything else this evening?
Just some food for thought.
Just name and address, please.
Allie Mercier, 19 Lockmill Drive.
Thank you.
Some food for thought on the elementary school bill. Obviously, with 2 kids headed to elementary, I'm particularly invested in it. I work in sales for government, right? And what I know about people right now is that no one has any money. Not merely government, but individuals, with what's been happening as far as the federal cuts have gone. And I'm concerned if we don't postpone the vote to a date where voters that are parents are more likely to be able to attend. I know more seniors vote on off-cycle voting cycles, that no matter what that number is, it's not going to get passed. And I just know the frugality of town, and I'm wondering if we could do any community engagement projects, especially with the 55-plus community, to show them the value of it and the value of home prices going up and that sort of thing once we have a space that is worth it for our children. To your point, it's heartbreaking to hear the trailers would stay on as a long-term thing. When I first saw them, I gratefully, to Mr. Plansky's point, did not experience that when I was at Griffin Memorial School. When I saw them come in, I was like, how dare we as a town make our littlest kids go through that? And I mean, I don't see a phase 2 taking those away.
Yeah.
So that's just a plug for the parents out there that aren't in this room, because all the parents I talk to are ready to vote for whatever we can to get our kids in a school that's safe, again, conducive to learning. I obviously understand the budgetary constraints.
Not to engage, right? But that was our warrant article 2 years ago that failed,
I know.
right?
I know.
So-
Well, and it's just a matter of, again, I think about community engagement. My neighbor across the street is Bobby, who helped install this Veterans Park. And it's just a matter of like, who do we leverage? Who do we inspire? Who do we bring into this conversation that might think that like they can't handle that, but don't know that their home prices will go up in value as a result of these things? You know, my in-laws live on Long Island, and I'm sure they would be looking at these 55-plus communities if it was going to support a school system that they thought their grandkids deserved, you know? So just wanted to voice that piece, and
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, anything else from community input tonight? All right, we'll close community input and school board comments.
I think the only comment I'm gonna make on this is, you know, I hear what you're all saying about this. My problem is that we're using 23 is just a magic number that we've looked at and said, well, we think we can get them down to 23 by doing half the project. And we think that the community is gonna support that. I mean, when we came to the table with this, right, the one thing we knew is that the community did not support a $44 million new building, right? That's what we knew. We still don't know what the number that they support at what value proposition. We know based off of the survey that they care by and large equally about education and cost. The largest portion of people care equally about education and cost. And the reality is we found out a week ago that this project that we were looking at, that we were hoping was gonna start with a 1, is gonna start with a 3. The community doesn't even really have that information. I mean, they do if they watch that last forum we did. So my biggest problem with this is that it would be one thing if the community came out and said the number's 23 and like we will vote yes for 23 and like we had that information, but we actually don't know how the community feels about doing half of a project at 23.
and, or doing a whole project now that they understand that the renovations would in fact cost this. We've now looked at not just a new school, we've looked at renovating this school as well. We don't know that they might say, you know what, at 29, it's worth just getting it done and then fixing it completely. And so that's my objection to this. I just want to localize that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the 23 is not just a number out of a hat, right? The 23 is a number that we received from the firms that we work with, right? And it is a number that is real and does address the problems that we've been talking about now, the main problems at Griffin. Does that still leave me concerned and pause? Yes, it does still leave the portables, which I don't see as a good option, but if it addresses 90% of what we're trying to achieve, and we've been talking about this for years, like, we gotta do something to move forward. What will the community vote on 23 million? I have no idea. The only way to find out is to vote, right, in March.
But we
And
also
if they
don't
vote
know-
down, they vote
but
down.
We don't know if they would vote on 29 million either.
I have no idea, but I can say 23 million has a better chance of passing than 29. That I know.
I will go with that. It's not a great. Can it potentially get us to the ultimate end solution? Yes. Right? That this is how I run projects at work when doing this. It is, I mean, you see it in airports, right? They look at a 15-year improvement plan and they phase it. They do it in chunks and phases, and they appropriate funds and they go raise funds in phases. I don't like that that's the solution that we're looking at. My concern is, one, doing nothing, and then we have a catastrophic failure in a system that we have to replace.
And it's coming. Like,
I mean, I'll go with a pipe goes for the boiler, and you get an engineering firm in that says, I'm not touching that unless it all comes out and I have to redo it all. That's coming with that system. And that's gonna be in the millions.
and we don't, just to be clear, we don't have the reserves to cover that. Like, we don't.
So I think it's a solution. I think I agree with Mr. Polanski that any data that we can get between now and deliberative as to what 23.5 would get us, I'm all for. I really like the solution of maybe we do just bulldoze the 60s and we put in a pack of portables, right? Sure, they'll last 15 years, but they're efficient, they're insulated, they're new. I'm not worried about the floor heaving anymore. And, you know, it's for the community engagement. We've tried to engage with the 55 plus. We've put it was on Facebook, it was on the town pages, it was on the town calendar, it was, so it.
We've
it's-
direct mailed several 55-plus communities.
They're generally in favor of it. It's not that.
The ones that we've met with, the one right next to the library, we had an information session, was it last year? 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? Jeez. Yeah, and, you know, we're parents too, was their message, right? And
Yep.
we support education. We just want to know, right?
Yeah.
That was their message to us.
No, I don't like that this is what we have to do, but I mean, it's the same thing it's the end solution to what I want to do with the house, right? Is I can't do everything at once, right? So I got to bite off chunks, knowing that in the grand scheme of things, like, listen, I'm going to say it, a phase approach is going to cost more overall to get to the same result to the taxpayer. It will. Nothing is as cheap as it is today. It will not be cheaper tomorrow. We're going to do 2 bond votes, that's 2 interest rates, that's 2 compounding sets. But it's a number that people can get behind because that they can plan for that next initiative.
And we're all balancing that with a tax increase that we all just saw in our tax bills, right? And for me, that's $2,000. My tax bills just went up. I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot.
Yep.
Right? 2?
Yep.
Right. So, you know, we're all balancing that, but I'm not discounting the need at Griffin. Like, I'm trying to find that happy medium to
We have to
balance
find
this.
the sweet spot.
Yeah.
So,
We'll do more work, obviously, you know. Harriman and Harvey's been great partners so far, and we keep throwing stuff at them, they keep
Yeah.
throwing stuff back at us, so.
Is most
getting
of that information interchanges with them in a folder on the FIC drive or anything?
Not on an FIC drive right now. A lot of it's in my email.
Okay.
Like with them right now, and just like
Yeah.
back and forth spitting, hey, what about this? What about this? Give me
Yeah.
this, so.
At some point.
At some point, we gotta clean it up and, document it a little bit
Yeah,
better.
distill it, put it in the FIC drive for the FIC committee and everything else.
Yep.
Spin up the communications and media.
All right, anything else for school board comments tonight? All right, this was a good meeting, thank you very much. The board does have some non-public business tonight under RSA 91A3, A through C. With that, I will entertain a motion to move into non-public, please. Motion by Mr. Shoemaker. Second by Mr. Plansky. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Plansky?
Aye.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
That carries 4-0. Thank you very much, everyone. We hope everyone has a great Christmas. Happy New Year. Our next meeting